Fight the pain, hold the line, lead the way, look inside, fight the pain, hold the line, lead the way, look inside, fight the pain. It's time to rise.
WrestleMania Saturday was a very dull show with an excellent ending. WrestleMania Sunday, which just concluded only a few minutes ago, was a largely excellent show with a terrible ending. That is the best way that I can sum up WrestleMania 41. I don't understand how... I put it this way. I'm trying to collect my thoughts here. I'm trying to figure out if... This is unbelievable. I'm just picturing Stone Cold driving his ATV into the barricade before the main event and just thinking what a great metaphor it was for what we got in the main event tonight. I'm trying to figure out which is worse. Austin's driving or Triple H's booking of that main event tonight. And I'm not sure I really have a straight answer for you. John Cena is a 17-time world champion. That's really the lead story here tonight. John Cena has made history by becoming a 17-time world champion. He did so as a heel, and he did so with the help of Travis Scott. So when they go down in history, in the record books, and people look back on this moment and they think, oh man, I wonder what happened. When John Cena won that record championship at WrestleMania 41, they're going to see that it was Travis Scott who assisted him in doing so, not The Rock. The Rock was nowhere to be found tonight. I was stunned. Absolutely stunned that we got Travis Scott, but we did not get The Rock. And I have a theory about this because it goes back to Bad Blood when we saw The Rock in October. You remember that? When The Rock came out at the end of the show that night, that was the night that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, they teamed together against the Bloodline. And The Rock comes out. We hadn't seen The Rock since the Raw after WrestleMania. And there he is. And he's out there with his Brahma Bull belt that he's very proud of, over his shoulder. And he just stands there. And he gives the cutthroat signal, and he leaves. And he's never heard from again until we see him in February, when he magically reappears in the weeks leading up to the Elimination Chamber. And he has that very bizarre segment with Cody where he says, I want your soul. And that became the big story now going into Elimination Chamber in Toronto. What does he mean by that? The Rock wants Cody's soul? This is fucking weird. So then we get to Elimination Chamber and John Cena wins the chamber. He punches his ticket to go to the main event of WrestleMania and challenge for the title of his choosing, which actually, I guess Jey Uso had already made his choice. So he would go to WrestleMania and wrestle for the WWE Championship. And then we got that great segment at the end of the show with Rock. Travis Scott is in the ring, and Cena, he nutshots Cody. And we have the trio of them as the show goes off the air. The new, the Hollywood heels. We have The Rock, we have John Cena, and we have Travis Scott. And I said, you know what? That's a really cool ending. As heel turns go, this will go down as one of the best heel turns and one of the more shocking heel turns that we have ever seen in wrestling. Boy, I can't wait to see how they follow it up. And then, of course, we all saw what happened. We didn't see The Rock. We didn't see John Cena for 2 weeks. Then John Cena shows up, and he's telling us how, he's been having all this pent-up frustration with us for 25 years, and he's just healing on all the fans, right? 2 weeks of that. Until finally we got that great segment with him and Cody in the ring where they actually went back and forth on the microphone. I said, okay, this is more like it. This is what I've been waiting to see. And we didn't see Cena again until SmackDown on Friday night. And I said, well, they must have something big planned for this WrestleMania main event. And surely The Rock will be there. What role will he play? What other cameos might we see? Because we saw what happened last year at WrestleMania. It was their Avengers Endgame. When Cody finished the story and we saw all these different people involved and it was exciting and it was overbooked, but it was a great main event. And I said, I wonder what they have planned for this year. And then to see what they gave us here at the end of this show, I tell you what else surprised me. The fact that we had back-to-back nights of WrestleMania with main events that ended with nutshot finishes. Who approved this? I would like to know. We have back-to-back nights of WrestleMania. The main event last night, we had multiple nut shots. Some say that Paul Heyman's fist is still surgically implanted up Roman Reigns' ass. And then tonight, we have John Cena in the closing moments of this championship match, kicking Cody in the balls. And then pinning him to win the 17th World Championship. This is how that moment now is going to be remembered. The closing scene of John Cena celebrating his win with Travis Scott and his replica belt standing in the middle of the ring. So what I am convinced of at this point, basically, as far as The Rock is concerned, is The Rock shows up when The Rock wants to show up. When The Rock's fancy is tickled and he decides that he wants to come back because it's fun, or because he wants some attention, wants to rub shoulders with somebody like Travis Scott, whatever it may be. He just decides to show up whenever he wants to, and then he vanishes. And unfortunately for the creative team in WWE and Triple H and all of them, they're then left to clean up the mess that results from it, because they have to accommodate The Rock. Oh, The Rock's going to come back. The Rock's going to show up tonight. The Rock's going to do this. The Rock's going to do that. Oh, great. We get The Rock on the show, right? Who doesn't want The Rock on the show? But then they have to work around it. And if they have plans in place, too bad. Those plans get blown up because The Rock is going to be on the show and The Rock is going to do whatever he wants to do. And that's the way I'm convinced that that's exactly what happened here. We had no Rock at WrestleMania tonight. He wasn't even, barely even mentioned, if at all, this weekend. Played no role in the finish of this match. The whole storyline was who's going to sell their soul to The Rock to be his champion. I need a friend. I need a brother. I don't have a brother. Right? That was the whole story with Cody. Now he's got his champion, but there was no Rock on the show tonight. But Travis Scott was there, though. Travis Scott was there. This WrestleMania finish, I'm not sure what they were thinking. This was a horrendous finish to WrestleMania this year. And it really is a damn shame because I enjoyed much of the show. It definitely fell off towards the end there. But the opening matches of the show tonight made up for a lot of what we saw last night on night one. Like, they were kicking ass at the beginning of the show. Those first three matches, like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, this is more like it. This now feels more like a WrestleMania. This is what I'm talking about here. Now they're cooking with oil, especially after that opener. And then it kind of steadily went down from there. John Cena got in the ring tonight and had his first singles match at a WrestleMania. Okay, the last time we saw him in a singles match at WrestleMania was against Austin Theory. That was a couple of years ago. And that match was fucking terrible. He had not won a singles match at WrestleMania in 10 years before tonight. He had not won a singles match in WWE for 7 years heading into tonight. What kind of John Cena were we going to get in the main event? He worked a very deliberate style, and part of that, I'm sure, was the fact that he's a heel now. So he has to work as a heel. He's been working as a babyface for the last 20 years. So he had to adjust his style a little bit. What ended up happening was we got a mostly very boring main event tonight. This was a main event where it almost felt like he worked this match in a way where he had a call time. Like next week, he has to be on set somewhere to film his next movie. I don't know. I'm watching this match and I'm like, all right, it's a very basic match, but surely it must be building to something here at the end. Yeah. What it built to was just fucking terrible. And it's a real damn shame that when people look back on this moment that John Cena broke the record and won number 17, it's going to be such a shit ending to this WrestleMania that people are going to be looking back on. It sucks. It's very unfortunate. And I know Triple H wishes that all of the critics and all of the prognosticators out there would, in his words, just fuck off and would just be a fan. Just be a fan. Just shut up and enjoy it. Shut up and enjoy the ride, right? Because you could tell the criticism of the road to WrestleMania this year, it got to him because he's not used to it. He's used to getting a lot of effusive praise from so many people, you know, Papa H and all these horrendously just ridiculous and disturbing things, frankly, that people say about him. This was really the first time since he took over as the real head of creative in this company that I think the collective, and not everybody, but I think collectively, he got a lot of shit. You know, he took it on the chin for what was a very mediocre build to WrestleMania this year. And I think that's what you saw this week. There was a lashing out against people because they're not used to it. They're not used to getting that type of criticism. Well, he's going to be getting a lot of criticism, and deservedly so, for the way that main event went and the way that main event ended here on this show tonight. And it is well deserved. And like I said, it's a damn shame because most of the rest of the show I thought was very strong. We had on this show tonight, they opened this show with a triple threat match for the Women's World Championship that was as good as any match at WrestleMania this year on night 1 or night 2. In fact, that's my favorite match of the weekend at WrestleMania. The story was a lot deeper and a lot richer in the main event on night 1. So if you want to go by story, sure. And the big Heyman twist at the end, that was done flawlessly. It was great. As a match, you're not going to beat Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky in that opening match tonight. I'm sorry. As a match, that was the best match of WrestleMania weekend. And it was a great way to kick off the show. And there was an energy there that just felt like it was missing from night 1. And then it just went from there. We had a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship that I thought was great. Randy Orton had his open challenge, which was answered not by someone who I thought it would be, but it was answered by the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, who had a WrestleMania moment that I'm sure he wasn't expecting to have, but he had it tonight, and good for him. Becky Lynch is back. She was the replacement for Bayley in the women's tag team title match. First match back. Not the first time that she's come back and won a championship in her first match back. Let's see if she gets the same criticism that Charlotte Flair gets. What I will say about this night is really this entire WrestleMania definitely did not match the quality of the last 2 years. WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania 39, great WrestleManias. WrestleMania 41 will not be among those great WrestleManias. I'm sorry to say. But I will say it's better than the first Las Vegas WrestleMania. I know that's a low bar. It was better than WrestleMania 9. It definitely clears that bar. But as far as this main event tonight and just, again, how it all played out and how they went off the air, I thought it was fucking horrendous. I really did. I thought it was fucking horrendous. It was the worst WrestleMania main event, at least since Roman and Brock at WrestleMania 38. That was night 2, I believe. And before that, I don't know how far back you would go, but yeah, not good. Not good. And I did not have an issue with John Cena winning the championship. In fact, my prediction and my hope for the main event tonight was that John Cena would win number 17. I'm not upset that he won number 17. I was hoping he would win number 17, and I am still hopeful if he shows up enough that it could be fun watching a heel John Cena go in there with a babyface Randy Orton, maybe even at Backlash in St. Louis in Orton's backyard in front of his hometown fans, right? That could be fun. A heel champion John Cena defending his title against CM Punk. And if they could do it in Chicago, even better, but probably not going to happen. Money in the Bank is in Los Angeles. SummerSlam is 2 nights in New Jersey. Either of those events would be the perfect venue, I think, to do that match. That could be a lot of fun. Those are matches that we need to see here in Cena's last year. How do you not have John Cena and Randy Orton? How do you not have John Cena and CM Punk, right? There's a lot more fun, potential fun. And I'm a little hesitant to use that word now because I see what they've done since Cena actually turned heel. But there's potentially a lot of fun to be had with him in this role, working with these different people. Cody's been champion for a year. I think Cody's been a great champion, but he's been champion for a year. There's nothing wrong with Cody losing the title and then struggling and working to get the belt back. As long as at the end of all this, John Cena drops that title back to Cody. Because that's how this story should end. It should end with John Cena losing the championship to Cody Rhodes and putting Cody, the face of this current era, over. And the face of the old era does the honors for the face of the current era. Whether that's SummerSlam or whenever that is. So hopefully that's how it'll end. And I see the story they were telling in the main event, because there was that moment where Cody had the choice to use the title as a weapon. He opted not to, and that's when Cena nutshotted him and went on to win the title. Like, yes, they were trying to tell that story. But in execution and just in the way that that main event was presented, I thought it was hot garbage. And it really did. It brought this WrestleMania down a couple of notches, which is too bad because night 2 was a lot better than night 1. I don't know what they were thinking. They probably thought it was cinema because that's what they think this is all cinema. Right? It's all cinema. Well, guess what? Even in the cinema, I've seen some pretty shitty movies. I'm just saying. This is your WrestleMania 41 night number 2 review. It is 420. Happy Easter. I am the Solomonster. Thank you for hanging out with me here. It is our second night in a row together. We had a very late night, a very big night last night. So hopefully we can replicate that tonight. If you are new here, hi, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. Super chats are open. They will be periodically popping up on your screen. Every message you send in, I will make sure that I read it. I will see it. And I will acknowledge it. So I thank you for that. And speak of the devil. Speak of the devil.
I believe in the monster.
You didn't scare me this time.
I believe in the monster. Cause they love him in London, in Paris, in Tokyo.
We saw this guy tonight.
Scotland, and Canada, and Mexico. They say, I believe in the monster. I believe in the monster.
David Thiering. David Thiering with a $150 super chat to get us started here. Amazing. David, thank you very much. David was with us last night as well. Great to see you here tonight. Oh, man. We heard that music. We heard that music for Randy Orton's Open Challenge. We'll get to that. He was on the show tonight. Hey, I'll tell you what, though. Even though that main event didn't put me in a very good mood, I am in a good mood because the Mets today, and Michael Cole gave them a shout out on commentary too. He's a big Mets fan. So is referee Eddie Orengo. But the Mets completed a 4-game sweep at home of the Cardinals today at Citi Field. First time that's happened since 1986. Do you know what else happened in 1986? That was the last time the Mets won the World Series. Fingers crossed. This is going to be the year. So last night, it was Triple H in the ring to open WrestleMania. Tonight, it was Stephanie McMahon. She said the last time WrestleMania was in Las Vegas was for WrestleMania 9. At the time, she was 16 years old. She said that she's at WrestleMania 41 now, and her middle daughter is 16 years old. And she says it's all about family, pyro shot off. Very good. Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, Wade Barrett, for the second night in a row, they were our commentary team. I jinxed it. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. If they don't win the World Series this year, you could blame me. Okay? Just blame me. You could say it's my fault. They opened night 1 with the triple threat match. It's funny, I should say night 2, but they ended night 1 is what I meant to say. They ended night 1 with a triple threat match. They opened night 2 with a triple threat match. And those 2 triple threat matches were the best matches at WrestleMania this year. Tonight, it was for the Women's World Championship with Io Sky defending her title against Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. More disrespect for the champion. She entered first. They had the champion enter first here in this match. Bianca Belair comes out, and she gets booed very loudly during her entrance. She was actually booed very loudly all throughout the match, even though she has done nothing wrong. She has done nothing wrong in this feud. The fans are the heels. Remember that. I say it all the time. The fans are the heels. There was a spot, though, in this match where Bianca gave Io 3 consecutive suplexes, including a delayed vertical at the very end before kipping up to her feet. And the fans couldn't help but applaud that. They had to applaud the athleticism of this woman. Rhea gave Io a razor's edge into Bianca, which was cool. Ripley went to the apron early. She landed a cannonball dive out onto Bianca on the floor. Io then hit Ripley with an Asai moonsault. A little while later, Ripley hoisted up Io and launched, that was where the razor's edge spot was. But after that, Ripley put Io in the prism lock, and Bianca was able to break that up. So Io performed a springboard missile dropkick. She's playing to the crowd. Everybody is going nuts for her because everybody loves her. Every time she's going crazy and she's like waving her arms around at everything. How can you not like this woman? Everybody they always pop for her. So everyone is firmly behind Io at this point, but then she turns around and Bianca Belair pounces this woman into another dimension. She goes up top. She follows up with a 450 splash on Io, which Michael Cole called a shooting star press. And Wade Barrett corrected him and said that it was, in fact, not a shooting star press. So Ripley put Bianca down with her Riptide finish, and Bianca kicked out. Ripley stood on the second rope after this, and she pulled up Io for a Riptide from the middle rope. Io, though, countered out of it, took Rhea all the way down to the mat. She went up for her over the moonsault. Ripley, though, got her feet up as Io flew off, and Io took this great bump. I mean, she got those feet right up in the face, and Io bumped I can't even describe it, but the way she bumped, it sent her backwards. She kind of stumbled backwards and into the clutches of Bianca, who hoisted her up for a KOD. She had the champion pinned. Ripley, though, broke it up. Crowd popped huge for that sequence, and deservedly so, because it was great. Hey, Darth, have you gotten enough Fiend for this weekend? Fiend. We heard that during the main event, too. Fiend. I'm going to hear that in my sleep. I don't want to ever hear that song again. I've heard it so much. So Bianca yells at Rhea, who is on her knees, and then pie faces her. Ripley fires back. Bianca hits her with a big right hand. Ripley spits in Bianca's face. And then she gets Bianca on the apron. She runs her into the turnbuckle. And Rhea goes to the middle rope. And she pulls Bianca up with her. Bianca fights Ripley. They're fighting up there. Sent her to the floor with a headbutt. Io then went for a poison rana on Rhea. But she stuffed the attempt. She held on to her. And then what she did was she propelled her back up and over. And so Io went face first into the top of the ring post, and it made this great sound. Bianca pulled Rhea down off the ropes onto her shoulders for a KOD, but Rhea landed on her feet. Bianca then avoided a riptide. She floated over, and she whipped Rhea with her braid, and it just makes that great sound. Just like with Liv Morgan in the chamber, it's like a shotgun blast from hell. Whips her with the braid, and then she successfully drops her with a KOD. But as Bianca had Ripley pinned, Io hits both women with her over the moonsault. She crushes both women with it. She covers Bianca and she pins Bianca to retain the women's championship. And just like that, Io Sky remains your women's world champion. I loved how they kept Io out of the shot too. So you didn't even see that she was coming. She just flew in from out of nowhere. And Bianca, interestingly enough, not Rhea, Bianca is the one who takes the losing fall. She is undefeated at WrestleMania no more. even though she really wasn't undefeated anyway. I mean, she was in a fucking battle royal and she lost, okay? I mean, she wasn't undefeated. But they wanted you to believe that she was undefeated because she didn't lose in a singles match. She had already lost at WrestleMania. That's like saying the Undertaker was in a battle royal at WrestleMania 8 and he lost, but he's undefeated at WrestleMania. No, he's not. No, he's not. But now she's definitely been defeated. Now there can be no debate about this. This was an outstanding opener. I love this match. This match was great. This was one of the best openers, one of the better openers that you will find in WrestleMania history. I'm not going to rank it as the best. I'm not going to say where it ranks among the best. It's among the best openers in WrestleMania history. This match right here could have main evented either night. This could have main evented night one. This could have main evented tonight. I'll tell you what, had they ended the show with this show would have been better off for it. I know why they didn't. I'm just saying, though, had you closed the show with this would have been quite the way to end WrestleMania on a much higher note than they did. Never a dull moment here. Crowd was super invested. The action I thought was great, never let up, and a very satisfying conclusion. You know, it just checked all the boxes. If there's one thing that surprised me, I was expecting Naomi to make an appearance here, and she didn't show up. There was no, and that's fine, but I thought she would. I thought she would at least show her face. There was no Naomi here, but Bianca didn't win, so she is staying on SmackDown, and she will no doubt continue to be involved in this whole Naomi and Jade story on Friday night. And we'll see if the negative reactions continue for Bianca, because she has been booed consistently now, going back to the European tour. During that European tour, it became very apparent that these fans started really booing her, noticeably booing her. And I thought, well, maybe it'll end when they come back to the States. And then it didn't end. And it has just continued from there. And part of it is, a couple of reasons for this. First of all, this was a very pro-heel crowd tonight. You heard it in the main event. They were booing Cody. You heard it in this match here. They were booing Bianca. They were cheering for Dominik Mysterio. So call it the WrestleMania effect. Call it the Las Vegas effect. It was just a heel-heavy crowd, whatever you want to call it. That was part of it. But also, Rhea Ripley is insanely over. Rhea Ripley can stand in the middle of the ring and she can nutshot somebody and hit him with a chair and do all kinds of horrible shit. And people will still cheer for this woman and probably fantasize about her doing it to them. She's just insanely over right now. And Io Sky is also very popular. So that's part of it. They love Io. They love Rhea. Bianca's almost like the odd person out here. I'm curious to see if these reactions continue, because if they do, I don't think they're going to have a choice but to, even if it's not in their plans, but to incorporate a heel turn into their plans for Bianca Belair. And I'm here for it. I would love to see a Bianca heel turn and maybe align her and Naomi, but as heels, and let them go on a tear. I don't know if that's the plan or not, but it'd be very interesting to see if that reaction continues for her. But you can't boo this woman for what she did tonight. Bianca was fantastic. All three women in this match I thought were fantastic. And this was right up there with that triple threat match from last night. Again, I said it at the beginning, as a match, forget the story and the big twist ending for a second. Just as a match, this was better than the main event last night. If you're really being objective about it, I believe this was the better match. This was the match that I enjoyed more. And I loved the main event last night. But I think this was my favorite match of WrestleMania weekend. So after this, we had Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. This was a Sin City street fight. McIntyre walked out dressed as Doomslayer, while Kerry King of the band Slayer played Priest out to the ring with a guitar solo. I don't know what they did to his guitar signal.
Say his name and he appears.
Oh, he's back.
I believe in the monster.
He is back.
I believe in the monster. Cause they love him in London, in Paris, in Tokyo, America, Scotland, and Canada, and Mexico. They say, I believe in the monster. I believe in the monster.
Yes, he is back. David Thiering. That's his second $50 bomb of the stream so far. David, I love you, brother. Thank you for the love. Last night and tonight, you're awesome. And Marcus, welcome to the channel. You're here just in time. You didn't miss much. We just covered probably the best match of the whole fucking weekend. So, but we're just getting into things here. We're gonna talk about this Sin City street fight. But what I was saying is, you had, Kerry is out there, and he's doing this guitar solo, and I don't know what they did to his guitar signal. Something sounded like it was just getting screwed up. I don't know if he was overmodulated or what it was, but the beginning there sounded a little rough. But then Damian Priest came out. He played him to the ring, and that was very cool. So they were fighting around ringside, and McIntyre got the better of it, and he hit Priest with the steel steps. Someone, they identified him as McIntyre's brother, so I'm going to assume that it was McIntyre's brother, hands him his smartphone. And Drew takes like a selfie over Priest's body, and then he's typing a tweet. I assume a tweet. And then he hands the phone back to his brother. And this motherfucker, let me show this to you here. This is what he posted on his Twitter. And maybe his IG. I didn't check his Instagram, but this was the second year in a row. This is the new annual tradition where Drew McIntyre posts a photo during his match and says, bored at work. This time he said, still bored at work. This man is a gem. He must be protected. So McIntyre cut off Priest's comeback attempt. He hit a flip dive out over the top. Drew went for a Claymore kick. Priest, though, threw a chair at his face. And it didn't hit him with too much force. So McIntyre no-sold it, either that or he wasn't supposed to take the chair. But he did anyway, and they just sort of ignored it. He came back anyway with a standing Claymore instead of a running one. Only got a 2 count. McIntyre wrapped the chair around Priest's head, and he went for a Claymore. Priest, though, managed to grab him with one arm, still had the chair wrapped around his neck, and he hit a chokeslam. And then Priest hit McIntyre with the chair until Drew came back with a spine buster. So Priest was able to avoid an avalanche white noise. He hit McIntyre with a razor's edge, threw a table that was set up in the ring, only got a near fall out of it. McIntyre followed with a future shock DDT on top of the ring steps. He had dragged the bottom part of the ring steps into the ring. So he gave him a future shock, which he also took, a good, he took a good drubbing there from that blow when he landed back first. So that didn't work. Later on, Priest tried the Undertaker's old school rope walk spot. McIntyre, though, shoved him off the ropes. They had set 2 tables up outside the ring earlier in the match that I had forgotten about. So when he shoved him backwards, Priest took this great bump through both tables and crashed through them. McIntyre then placed Priest's head against a chair that was wedged in between the ropes, and then he claymored his face into the chair, a chair-assisted Claymore kick. And with that, McIntyre covered him, and he got the pin. This was another really good match. They didn't go too crazy with all the plunder. They had the steps and the chairs and the tables. That was pretty much it. I like the old school spot where Priest went through the 2 tables because, like I said, enough time had gone by where I had forgotten that those tables were even out there. And Priest got a good amount of offense here, but this should have been a McIntyre win. Drew McIntyre, he needs to be elevated back to the main event. I can appreciate what these guys tried to do. It was a fine mid-card feud, and I like both these guys, but McIntyre needs to be in that top mix. So I think it was more important for him to win this match. Now you could argue the opposite and say that Priest is still trying to climb the ladder. McIntyre's kind of a made guy already. Priest could have used the win. McIntyre, I think, needed this win more than he did right now for where he's going. So I thought it was the right finish. And hopefully with Priest, he could start to get back some of that momentum that he had on Raw before he got transferred over to SmackDown, because the crowds were going wild for him. And he really felt like, okay, he's really breaking out as a true top guy. And I think he can do that on SmackDown, but the reactions just have not been the same as what they were on Raw. So hopefully he can recapture some of that. After this, we had a fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Bron Breakker defending the title against Penta, Finn Bálor, and Dominik Mysterio. This was Penta's WrestleMania debut. 24 hours after his brother, Rey Fenix, made his WrestleMania debut. This was Penta's time. Dominik came out. He was wearing a white Rey Mysterio mask for his entrance, and he struggled to pull it off, which Michael Cole thought was hilarious, and he started laughing. Dominik and Bálor, they worked together to start. Cole emphasized that Dom was 0 for 3 at WrestleMania, which should have been a sign. Penta hit Dom and Bálor with a flip dive. Breaker then came flying out of nowhere with a shoulder tackle off the apron, took out Penta. Back in the ring, Penta dove at Bron, who slammed him, and then Breaker followed with a press slam on Bálor. He speared Dom. He had him beat. Bálor broke it up. Penta then performed his sacrifice arm breaker to Finn Bálor. Penta picked him up and held him up for a second. Breaker then suplexed them both at the same time. So Breaker kicked up. He pointed at Penta in the opposite corner. Breaker went for a spear. Penta moved, and that caused Breaker to crash and burn. So now Carlito suddenly appears. He was there. Came out of the crowd, I guess. So Carlito is at ringside. Dominik hit 2 of the 3 amigos. He couldn't get the third one. So Bálor came over to help him finish the job on Penta. This crowd was completely pro Dominik Mysterio. You would never know that this guy was such a heat magnet because these people badly wanted to see this guy win. They were completely in his camp 100% here. And again, say it with me. The fans are the heels. Dom and Bálor, they tried to suplex Breaker. He blocked it and suplexed them both. Up top, Breaker hit a Frankensteiner on Bálor for a near fall. Dominik dropkicked Bálor from behind at this point. And so their little alliance or understanding here was over. And he went for a 619. Bálor blocked it. He grabbed Dom's legs. He brought him back inside. He's looking at him like, what the fuck? Leg trip. Now he's putting the boots to him. And he's stomping Dominik until Penta grabs Bálor. He hits him with a Penta driver. And Penta had Bálor pretty much dead to rights here. Breaker, though, returned to the ring to break it up. Breaker and Dom, they squared off. And Bron ran the ropes. Carlito, though, pulled the top rope down. And so Breaker went sailing out over the top to the floor. Penta then had Dom pinned, but Carlito pulled Penta to ringside. And Carlito cleared off the Spanish announce desk. And he was about to, I think it was the Spanish one. Might have been the English one, but he cleared off the announce desk. And he was about to put him through the table or pull Penta onto it is what he was going to do. Bron Breakker, though, was on the other announce desk. And Carlito sees this. And so here comes Bron, and he sprints across both tables, and he just destroys Carlito with a spear, causing the announce desk to collapse. And it's not easy to break these announce desks. They're made of some harder material now, metal, I think. They were showing like the construction of the new curved announce desks. I don't know if this is going to be a new thing, the whole curvature. I think they look cool, but I don't know if that was just a WrestleMania thing or if that's the way they're going to be from now on. So it takes a lot to break these announce tables these days, but it broke. I mean, it looked like a disaster area out there by the time this was over. So Breakker gets back into the ring. He spears Penta. Dom drop kicks Breakker from behind, hits him with a 619. Dominik is cheered as he's going up top. He's going to hit the splash, but here comes Finn Bálor. And Bálor cuts him off. He was heavily booed. Bálor hit Breakker with a sling blade, shotgun drop kick. He goes up top. He hits the coup de grace to Bron Breakker. Goes for the pin, but Dominik interrupts the pin from the top rope with a frog splash onto Bálor, and he pins Finn Bálor to win the Intercontinental Championship. We were 3 for 3 so far at this point in the show, but that kicked ass. And again, all action, never a dull moment here. Everybody was involved and everybody had a chance to shine. Bron Breakker's in there. He's looking like a badass. Penta was able to shine himself in his WrestleMania debut. And they continued the drama, the story between Bálor and Dom, who have been at odds. They've been butting heads now for many months in the Judgment Day. And so him stealing that pin from Bálor and winning the championship and effectively taking it away from him and stealing it from him clearly is going to play into this whole Judgment Day story and a very likely split that we'll have soon. which is probably more than overdue in the Judgment Day. But I told you coming into this, I said, this is going to be Dirty Dom's night. I said, he's my guy. He's the guy I was going with. It just felt like it was the right time in this story to make this move. I just wasn't expecting the reaction to be what it was. You would think that this was like a huge babyface win in the main event of WrestleMania with the reaction that this guy got. Everybody was on their feet. Everybody was cheering and smiling and happy. He got a tremendous reaction. And then as he's leaving, right, he takes the championship and he's walking out and they show replays. When they come back from the replays, he's still like halfway up the ramp. He sprints back down to the ring, like past Bálor and everybody. He sprints back down to the ring, dives into the ring to celebrate some more. So I wonder if they gave him the cue like, hey, get back in the ring and go celebrate. And so the fans cheered for him all over again. Braun Breaker is protected from taking the losing fall, which I figured he would be. And that now frees him up to move up the ladder. So I don't know who he works with now, like in the immediate future, in the near term. But it does free him up now to potentially challenge for the world championship, later on in the year. Maybe he wins Money in the Bank. I don't know. I don't know that he needs Money in the Bank. And it doesn't sound like they're going to be doing King of the Ring this year. But it does free him up to do bigger things than just the Intercontinental title. The only thing is, if I had one criticism of what they did here, they did the exact same finish as what we saw in the opener. And actually, this finish worked better here. So I have no issue with them doing this finish here because for this story, it worked. But it was the same exact finish we got in the triple threat match to open the show. But other than that, these two matches here, these are the two best matches on night 2. I thought this was great. That is decidedly not great. But Alex, you are great. Thank you for the $25 Bree mode. Good to see Alex with us tonight. Up next was the Open Challenge. Randy Orton was left without a match at WrestleMania this year, his 20th WrestleMania appearance, when Kevin Owens went down with his neck injury. Who would he be facing on this show? Who would step forward to answer the Open Challenge of Randy Orton? Orton gets in the ring, and he says this is his 20th WrestleMania. Whoever his opponent is, they would get their WrestleMania fame, I guess, courtesy of an RKO. And so they waited and teased it. And they wanted you to just wait a little bit longer and build up the drama, extra dramatic effect here. Is it going to be Nick Aldis? Is it going to be Solo Sikoa? Is it going to be Rusev? Is it going to be someone else who's about to make their big debut for the company? Did Jeff Cobb fly all the way from Japan after losing to Tanahashi yesterday to be the opponent for Randy Orton? He would have come out to fucking crickets. It's a good thing it wasn't him. No, it wasn't any of these people. It was the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. For the first time in WrestleMania history, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion makes an appearance. Joe Hendry, who got a very good reaction. These people knew who he was. They played his video. They played the song. He comes out. He's got the championship around his waist. Big smile on his face. And he's swaying his hands. He's waving his hands back and forth, swaying. Everybody in the crowd is swaying as he makes his way down to the ring. This was the biggest moment in this man's life. He walks out there. This is his WrestleMania debut. He's out there in front of 60,000 or what they claim is 60,000 people. Right? Packed house, fans as far as the eye can see, more fans than he has ever performed in front of his entire life. And he's got the TNA World Heavyweight Championship around his waist. He is there representing TNA. If you don't think that that wasn't the biggest moment of this man's career, you're fooling yourself. He was loving every second of this. He was taking it all in. So the fans, like I said, they were totally with this. Pat McAfee thought the title would be on the line. I don't know why he thought the title would be on the line. That's ridiculous. And so Michael Cole smartened him up and said that it wasn't, which is a good thing given what ended up happening here. This did not last very long. Hendry gets in the ring. And you know what he does with the pose where he turns and he smiles and the Okada zoom on his face. So he did that. Orton went for an RKO right away. I was like, they're not going to do this. I swear to God, I thought it was going to be RKO 1, 2, 3. But he went for an RKO. Hendry fought him off, and he hit a neck breaker. Hendry started stomping on the mat. He's getting the crowd into it. They're clapping. Orton, though, now he was setting up for the chokeslam that he does. So he goozles Orton by the neck, and Orton just no-sells this, and he looks down in, like, confusion. Like, what are you doing? What are you attempting to do here? You're not the Undertaker. So then he pokes him in the eye, and Hendry is blinded. Orton then hits a draping DDT. He sets up for an RKO. Hendry blocks it, and he hits a fallaway slam. Hendry then turns, and he does the zoomed-in face again, right? They zoom in on him. He does the face, and then out of nowhere, Randy Orton comes flying in, and he takes this man down with an RKO truly out of nowhere, which was fucking amazing. Like, just the camera shot, the timing of it, the reaction to it was just pitch perfect. It was high comedy is what it was. And he covers Joe Hendry. Thanks for coming. Randy Orton picks up the win. The match itself lasted about as long as Joe Hendry did in the Royal Rumble. Joe Hendry was in the Royal Rumble for about 3.5 minutes. And that's about how long this match went. This match went about 3.5 minutes. I thought I really did. I thought they were going to have Orton fly in and finish him off in the first 10 seconds. I legitimately thought they are going to bury the fuck out of this guy. And they're literally going to ring the bell and squash him in 10 seconds for that WrestleMania moment. It's like when the Hart Foundation beat the Bolsheviks. WrestleMania 6. But they didn't do that. They actually gave him some offense here. You cannot say that it was a total squash because it could have been. But it was not a total squash. You know, what they were going for here, they were going for a WrestleMania moment. This was not a match so much as they were going for the moment. Right? That's what they do. They go for the moments and the memes and the viral video that they can post on social media. WrestleMania moments, right? They talk about this stuff all the time. That's what this was. And what they were trying to do is make the best of a bad situation. Nobody that they would put in the ring with Randy Orton. Nobody. Not even like a Nick Aldis, right? Who had been RKO'd twice by this man going back a couple of years when he ate that first one. Anybody on the current roster, there was no story that was going to be there to support this match in the way that there would have been a story for a Randy Orton Kevin Owens match. You were not going to be able to replicate that. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens were friends. They were allies on TV for a good chunk of the year last year until Orton, got laid out by Owens. And then he got the pile driver. He was out for 4 months. He sat home for 4 months selling that pile driver. Everything was building to the punt kick, which, by the way, we ended up not getting a punt kick at all. I thought he was going to punt Hendry in the head. We didn't get a punt kick. But that was the story. That's what everything was building towards. As soon as Kevin Owens went down with an injury, that was it. There was no more story. So what do? You go for the moment. You try to give people a moment because there is no story on 2 weeks' notice. So that's what they did here. And so I didn't have an issue with it. It will end up being one of the more memorable moments of this entire weekend. And Joe Hendry gets his first, WrestleMania appearance. Now, John Alba did tweet this out. He said, multiple TNA sources told me that Joe Hendry was supposed to work a match on the main roster on the Scotland Raw, but plans changed. One told me earlier today about a potential make good coming for him. Well, I would say that he got a pretty good make good here, being able to wrestle Randy Orton, a fucking future Hall of Famer, in his 20th match at a WrestleMania. I'd say that's a pretty good make good. And by the way, I should show you this too. There it is on your screen right now. They have Joe Hendry merch on WWE Shop right now. He actually has a t-shirt. Say his name and he appears with the WrestleMania logo and his own little logo in there. So they have merch for him up on WWE Shop. It's a shirt. I think a hoodie. They have a hoodie up there for him as well. The only thing is they actually say it may not ship out until May 23rd, which is kind of unfortunate because it's a WrestleMania shirt. So this WrestleMania shirt may not ship out for another month. But if you want to buy it, you can go pick it up right now and place your order. Hopefully he gets a cut of that merch. But we weren't done yet. So again, I had no issue with what they had done up to this point. I know some people are going to look at this and go, oh, they buried him. You couldn't give him more time? No, because that's not what this was supposed to be. This was not meant to be a 10-minute competitive wrestling match. What don't you understand about that? And I'll be honest with you too. If you are a diehard TNA fan, I haven't looked. I haven't looked at the forums or anything like that, but I'm going to assume that the real TNA fans, the real diehard TNA fans, they're not going to see this as a burial either. They're going to see it for what it is. And they'll probably be happy for Joe Hendry. Because they recognize, what this really was supposed to be. This was not a burial up to this point. We weren't done yet. So Orton helps Hendry to his feet, and he raises his arm, poses for the crowd on one side, raises his arm and poses for the crowd on another side, and then he drops him with a second RKO. He dropped this fucking guy twice with an RKO, and then Orton mockingly turned to do the Joe Hendry pose. Instead, he did his own Randy Orton douche pose that he does, and the camera zoomed in, and he had a good laugh. And it was funny. It was hilarious. But when I saw that, when I saw the second RKO, and then I saw the zoomed in mocking shot, I was like, man, they did my man dirty here with that second RKO. They could have left well enough alone, but man, they did my guy dirty here. Hit him with the second RKO and stole the man's pose. That's evil. They didn't have to do him like that. He'll be okay, though. I think he's going to be fine. Go pick up your shirt if you want to support Joe Hendry. We had AJ Styles in the very next match here. One-on-one with Logan Paul. By the way, shout out to the 4,100 plus who are hanging out with me here on a Sunday night as we wrap up WrestleMania Night 2. AJ Styles against Logan Paul. Logan held a drone camera in the ring, and he brought it to ringside. The match begins. I had high hopes for this match, just given the talent involved here. Logan Paul, great athlete. Logan Paul's had some great matches. AJ Styles has had a career of great matches. Not too many of them have come at WrestleMania. And I was really hoping that, I don't know how many more WrestleMania matches he even has. I was hoping that with Logan Paul as his opponent, they would go out there and have a kick-ass match. Kick-ass is not a word I would use to describe this match. It was not a bad match, but it will not go down as a great WrestleMania match either. I was kind of underwhelmed by this match. But
it's the amazing Gunther.
Oh, King Nader is back.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Hey, King Nader, what's going on, man? King Nader was here with us last night.
I have one pair of skinny jeans, and I'm going to wear them every week just to piss you off.
Big Dave, wearing those skinny jeans. Yeah, unfortunately, this is the point in the show where things did start to fall off. All those kick-ass matches I talked about at the beginning of the show, like they were firing those first 3 matches, man, like 3 in a row. And then we had the open challenge, which was a fun moment, and then it just started to taper off. But here, Logan tried a slingshot dive with AJ at ringside. Styles, though, trapped him in the ring skirt, started firing away at him. Styles also drove him into the barricade right where Nick Khan was sitting with his son. We'll get back to Nick Khan here in a little bit. So Logan gained the advantage by shoving AJ into the ring post, and then he grabbed the drone camera, which was sitting on top of the Prime Hydration Station. Are you tired, by the way, after this weekend of all of these sponsors that were plastered all over the ringside area? We had the Prime Hydration Station. They were showing us tonight. What was the guy in the mascot costume? Minute Maid, right? The Minute Maid mascot. They kept going back to the Minute Maid mascot. Of course, they had all the logos on the mat. They had the logos on the turnbuckles. They had logos up on, You can't escape it. Like, it's all over the place. I mean, they're probably making money on all this shit hand over fist. I know why they're doing it, but it's like sensory overload with all of this shit. It's unbelievable. So yes, the drone was sitting over by the Prime hydration station, and he sent it into the air. And so we went with the drone shot footage, which was terrible quality. And they stuck with it for like fucking 90 seconds. I'm like, can we go back to the regular feed, please? I'm watching WrestleMania on a fucking drone as he's beating up AJ Styles. Styles came back with a quick flurry, including a fireman's carry neckbreaker, sliding forearm, and a brain buster for 2. AJ set up for the phenomenal forearm. Paul grabbed him off the ropes, then hit a rolling senton and a lion salt for a 2 count. That's right, the General. Yes. Well, the General was one of the sponsors. They had the General Insurance logo on the mat. Not the Ring General, who lost to the Yeet Man last night at WrestleMania. So Logan avoided a Styles clash. He hit a buckshot lariat, which I believe Pat McAfee referred to it as the buckshot lariat on commentary. Styles ducked a right hand and hit a rack bomb for a 2 count. AJ went for a springboard 450. Logan got the knees up and hit a Styles clash. AJ, though, rolls right through it after he hits it, but he rolls through it and he gets Logan up for a Styles clash of his own. And now both men are down. He basically no-sold his own finish, which I guess he's allowed to do because it's his move. Or should I say Michelle McCool's move? That'll piss some people off. But yeah, so he basically no-sold his own move there. So at that point, we see Logan's friend Jeff. Now, I don't know who this guy is. We are told that he's a friend of Logan's. We've seen him in multiple matches. He's the guy who's always like trying to pass the brass knucks to him, like over the barricade. Only this time, Jeff, apparently security is okay with this guy, Jeff, lurking around ringside. And he's kind of crouched down so the referee doesn't see him. And you can see that he's got the brass knucks and he's waiting for the right moment to pass the knucks over to Logan. And he tries to do so, but before he can, Karrion Kross appears. And he grabs them away from him. Now, all we saw at first was a hand come in. And then the camera panned back and we see Karrion Kross. And when they showed Karrion Kross, the people popped. That was the biggest pop I think he's ever gotten in all the years he's been in WWE. Now, granted, he's been a heel pretty much his entire run there, but the fans actually reacted. They popped for Karrion Kross. They were happy to see him. And so he stops Jeff from passing the brass knucks into the ring. And AJ comes outside. He throws Jeff aside over into the barricade. And so now we have Kross talking to AJ. And he is pleading with AJ, calling him Alan. Please, Alan, use the knucks. He wants him to embrace the dark side. Use the knucks. AJ throws the knucks aside. He punches Kross in the face. And you could hear boos. You could hear some boos for that. AJ's going to do it the fair way. He ended up falling victim to the same thing that John Cena did at the end, or Cody Rhodes did at the end of the show. You know, if you're a young kid watching WWE, now that I think about it, as I sit here and I'm going through this, like it sends a horrible message to any little kid watching this show who wants to do the right thing. And they're taught for their entire life that if you want to win and you want to do good, you got to do it the right way, right? You don't cheat. You don't take shortcuts. You don't take a back step, right? You do it the right way, the fair fight, right? AJ Styles opted not to use the brass knucks, and he threw them away. And in the end, it cost him because he goes back up on the apron, and he's going to go for the phenomenal forearm. Logan, though, ducks it, and then he nails him with that loaded fist. And then he follows that with a pulverizer, and he pins AJ Styles. And what did we see in the main event? Cody Rhodes had a choice to make. He was going to fight fair. He got kicked in the dick, and he lost his title. So remember that, kids. If you fight fair, okay, you're a loser. Losers fight fair. If you want to win, you got to cheat. And as Al Bundy used to say, it's only cheating if you get caught. That's the message coming out of WrestleMania 41 this year. It was actually a very, very much a heel WrestleMania. We had, I think for the first time since WrestleMania went to the 2-night format, we had back-to-back nights with the heels going over in the main event. I don't believe that's ever happened before. So again, all you little kids out there, I'm just saying, learn from this. They say don't try this at home, right? Whenever you tune into WWE, but I'm just saying, you apply that in your life, you learned a very valuable lesson tonight. I thought it was cool to see Cross get a pop because I wasn't expecting that. I didn't even know he was going to be there. And so it looks like his story with AJ is going to continue instead of him just kind of disappearing into the void, which is what I thought might happen. Like, okay, he had his little story with AJ and then he's going to go away and we're not going to see him again for 6 months. But it looks like his story with AJ is going to continue, which is cool. I thought this match had the potential to be so much more than it was. And when it was over, again, I'm not going to say it was a bad match. Like the work itself was fine. It was just boring. And the crowd was very quiet for it. It was like the come down match. At no point did, it feel like they were fully invested in this match, but I'm not surprised because look at the build. It was very basic, very pedestrian. You had AJ calling him out at Madison Square Garden. 3 weeks later, Logan calls him out. It was a very, very generic build to this match. And the fans treated it like a very generic match. And unfortunately, AJ Styles suffers a loss here, and it's not a WrestleMania match for him that I think a lot of people are going to really remember much about. I don't know how this happened. This match went almost 18 minutes. And I realized at this point that outside of the main event last night, outside of the 2 main events, I do believe this match here was the longest WrestleMania match of either night outside of the 2 main events. I don't know how the hell that happened. I guess Logan was able, they want Logan Paul to have plenty of time to do his thing. There was no reason for this to go 18 minutes. This went longer than the women's triple threat match. This went longer than the fatal 4-way match, I believe. That's crazy. That is crazy. Then we have the women's tag team titles. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they walk in as the champions. They defend their titles here against Lyra Valkyria and a mystery partner. Now, why a mystery partner? Because it was supposed to be Bayley and Lyra. Bayley and Lyra, they won a gauntlet match on SmackDown last week to earn the right to challenge for these titles. On the kickoff show yesterday, they shot an angle where Bayley was attacked off camera. We saw her laying there by a mystery attacker. She was holding her shoulder. We don't know who. We don't know what happened or how it happened. Adam Pearce is on the scene, and he tells Lyra, it appears that Bayley is out of WrestleMania. She hadn't even been evaluated yet. They've already made a medical decision that she's not going to be cleared in time for WrestleMania. And she gave Lyra 24 hours to find herself a partner to replace Bayley. So we had 2 mystery person angles on this show, one with Randy Orton and one here in this tag team match. And so enter Becky Lynch, who we have not seen in almost a year. The last time we saw Becky Lynch was on Raw last year when she lost to Liv Morgan in a steel cage match. And apparently she's been waiting to come back for a while. They've just been waiting to figure out creative. They just could not decide on a creative idea for her to come back until now. And this was the idea that they came up with, which brings me back to Bayley. Is Bayley really hurt? No, she's not. This is all angle. And apparently they knew at least a few weeks in advance what the plan was. Now, I don't know how far in advance Bayley knew. Even if Bayley knew 2 or 3 weeks ago, it's still pretty fucked up. That she's advertised for a WrestleMania match and then gets pulled from the show, even if she was not really, intended for this spot in the first place. But she gets pulled from the show and she wasn't even on the show. She wasn't in their corner. Like, she just wasn't seen at all. Totally off the show, but she's 100% healthy. There's nothing wrong. That's pretty fucked up. I do feel bad for her. But Becky gets her spot, and so they kick things off here. And the heels very quickly take control. Liv shoves Lyra off the top into a big boot by Raquel. Lyra almost made a hot tag. Morgan, though, yanked Becky off the apron.
Off is a direction you can fuck.
That's my message to Triple H after that main event tonight. Since The Rock couldn't be here to say it himself, I'll say it for him. I don't know where he is, but he was not in Las Vegas tonight. Thank you, brother. Anyway, Becky, she is reaching for the tag. And the way this was shot at first, I thought that she pulled her hand away from Lyra and was turning heel. I didn't notice at first, and then they cut and you could see that Liv pulled her off the apron. But at first I'm like, oh shit, what's going on here? Becky did eventually make the hot tag though. She gave Raquel a Molly go round before hitting Liv with a fallaway slam. Becky put Morgan in a disarm her. Rodriguez though broke it up with a boot to the face. Morgan hit Becky with Oblivion, but Lyra broke up the cover. And after Lyra took out Raquel outside the ring with a tornado DDT on the floor, Becky hit Morgan with a manhandle slam, and she pinned Liv Morgan. She got her revenge for the cage match last year. Because Liv's been gloating ever since that she retired Becky Lynch. So this was Becky's revenge. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria are the new women's tag team champions. Michael Cole is on commentary already calling her Lyra Two Belts because I can't think of a less original thing to come up with. Gee, I wonder where he got that from. We go from Becky Two Belts to Lyra Two Belts. She is now one half of the women's tag team champions and the women's intercontinental champion. That I was not expecting. Now, had they gone through with the original plan, in kayfabe, what the original plan was, I wasn't expecting a title change here. But with Becky in there, were they really going to bring Becky back and have her lose? Unless she was going to turn heel. It would have made no sense for her to come back after almost a year away against the woman who, quote unquote, retired her and then lose. So you had to know as soon as she came out here, they're probably winning the tag team titles. And sure enough, that's what happened. Now, they had an average match. The crowd was not as up for this match as you would think, given how big of a name Becky is. And maybe she's not at the peak of when she was at her hottest in 2018, hottest as an act. We're talking 2018, 2019. It's been a while. But still, she's a major name. We haven't seen her in a long time. She got a great reaction coming out. The match itself, though, was just kind of like, eh. And that's kind of how the crowd was. But they were happy to see them win the titles. Lyra was obviously ecstatic to have 2 championships. This is not the first time that Becky Lynch has come back, her first match back, and won a championship. And so for all the people who want to throw shade at Charlotte Flair, and hey, rightfully so in some cases perhaps, but you want to throw shade at Charlotte and crack jokes and everything, you got to be fair about it here. Not the first time that we've seen this with Becky Lynch. She comes back and all of a sudden she's got gold around her waist. I just hope they have a good story to support it. And I hope Bayley gets a good spot in this and is going to be a part of this story as well because she really got the shaft here. So the question is, does Bayley go heel? Does Becky ultimately go heel and then work a program for the IC title with Lyra? Which I think would not be a bad idea. It would not be a bad idea for her to win the IC title and work a longer program with Lyra and then put her over at the end. I wouldn't even mind that necessarily. It feels more like if anyone's going to go heel, it's probably going to be Bayley. And if she does, I hope she gets a hell of a run. Because after this, I can understand why people would be upset. Yeah, that she got jobbed out here by not being a part of this. So then we get to now nobody as far as I know got injured or seriously injured. So I can laugh about this.
I am the Lord.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, there ain't nothing funny about this guy though.
Fuck that tree.
Holiday 197 with the learning tree. Ain't nothing funny about that. Let's talk about this segment. I didn't know if he might make a cameo appearance in the main event. But then the glass shattered. And out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I said, well, I guess we're not going to see him in the main event. If he's coming out here, we're not going to see him in the main event. But I was happy to see Stone Cold. I hear the music and he makes a cameo here on this show. He was at the Hall of Fame. And he was out there last night when they had the Hall of Famers on stage. And I didn't see it at first. I saw it after the fact, so I didn't mention this in my review. But I went back and I watched it when all the Hall of Famers except Lex Luger were on stage and Triple H comes out and he's shaking hands with each of the inductees. After he shook Bret Hart's hand, Bret had this just priceless look on his face. Like he shakes his hand and then he's looking at someone like in the other direction. He's just like, he just makes this, like, you could just tell like the contempt that he still has deep down, and maybe not even so much deep down for Triple H. Like he doesn't much care for Triple H, and you could understand why. He was the mastermind of the screw job. It was his idea. I don't think he ever forgot that. That was funny to me. Bret knows how to hold a grudge. I will say that. But Austin was back here for the third time this weekend, and he drove out on an ATV. Not the first time he's done this at WrestleMania. He drove out in an ATV for the segment with Kevin Owens a few years ago before they had the match. Now, the ramp was kind of narrow, and I'm like, I don't know how many beers he's had so far tonight, but hopefully he can just, drive in a straight line. So he safely made it all the way down the ramp, and he is driving his ATV at a high rate of speed around the ring. And he does one lap around the ring, and so he's coming around the bend again. And Michael Cole on commentary is talking about how, nervous he gets when he sees, Austin out here driving like this. And you can understand why. As he's turning the corner around one of the posts, he crashes into the fucking LED barricade, like right into the front. He didn't crash into the front row, but like he crashes into the wall. And I don't know if he was stuck, like the wheel was, I don't know, but he crashes into the wall. And there's a woman, and I watched this back, okay? He didn't like hit the woman. There was a woman who was, I think, standing there. And I guess the impact, it was almost like a delayed impact or a delayed reaction. And she just sort of very slowly just kind of fell back into her chair. It wasn't like the fucking impact knocked her down on the ground, but she falls back into her chair. And she has this look on her face like she's shocked and appalled. Like she's angry. And Austin obviously said something, probably apologized to her. Didn't matter. Like she still had this fucking pissed off look on her face. So Austin just leaves the ATV. I really think maybe the wheel was stuck or something. He couldn't move it. So he just gets off the ATV and gets into the ring to do his segment. But yeah, this woman she was not happy. She did not look happy at all. And in fact, Nick Khan later on, he went over. He was in a different section. Nick Khan came over to go talk to this. Well, of course he did. Because he's like, oh my God, like this is a lawsuit waiting to happen here. Let me go check on this woman and make sure everything's okay. Maybe we'll give her tickets to fucking Backlash or something. We'll give her a Joe Hendry t-shirt. Anyway, Austin gets in the ring, and he's here to announce the attendance. Because last night it was Shawn Michaels who came out to announce the attendance. So they send Austin out there, and he's going to announce that it's another sold-out crowd, he said. See, I'm intrigued by this because they announced an attendance number of a few thousand less last night, and they claimed that was sold out. So you're in the same building 2 nights in a row. You were sold out last night. I think they said 61,000. Was that the number? But tonight, they had 63,226, and they were sold out. Like, they can't even get their own story straight here. So he said, I'm not sure if that number looks right. Looks like there's more people than that in this building. And he starts counting. He's looking into the crowd. He goes 1, 2, 3. He gets all the way up to 18. And then he stops and says, it's bullshit. Yeah, these numbers are bullshit. So then he announced a combined 2-night attendance total of 124,693 solid-ass cats here in Las Vegas. Now, I was wondering about that because, he was at WrestleMania all weekend. And so I'm wondering who's watching Pancho and Macho back at the Broken Skull Ranch. He's got 2 solid-ass cats. See, I wouldn't want to be away from them for more than maybe a day or 2. But anyway, so Austin drank some more beers. I have a feeling he drank some before he drove out there. And he made his way to the back. That's why I said at the beginning of the review, I'm not sure what's worse, Austin's driving tonight or Triple H's booking in that main event. I'm not sure. I might go with Triple H on this. But that brings us to the aforementioned main event, which was John Cena in his final WrestleMania match, trying to win a record-setting number 17, going up against Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. John Cena had not won a singles match before tonight in 7 years. He had not won a singles match at WrestleMania, they said, in 10 years. Yet here he is in the main event, one last shot. This is it. It all comes down to this. It's do or die. Cena walks out first, and he enters. They actually darkened the lights a little bit. It wasn't like Undertaker dark, but they darkened some of the lights. It wasn't as bright. And all you saw on the screens and on the LED ramp was nothing but his name. It just said John Cena in very basic white lettering. And even his gear was dark. It was black. So stripped away all of the colors and just all of the glitz and glamour. This is what he was going for here with this heel entrance, which was a nice touch. So then we have Cody's entrance, and this puzzled me. And maybe somebody can shed some light on this for me. They had several dirt bikes just driving back and forth across the stage. And then Cody walked out. What is the significance of the dirt bikes? When have we ever seen Cody either come out on a dirt bike or be associated with a dirt bike? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Then he walks out there. He's got the skull mask that he was wearing last year, and it opens. Like, it opens to reveal his face. Like a toy. And that was it. As far as like WrestleMania main event entrances go, these were pretty fucking lame. I have to say. These were very lame. Much like the main event itself was. So both men got noticeable boos when Alicia Taylor was doing the in-ring introductions. Cena got booed. Cody got booed. Everybody gets booed. It's a heel crowd. That's what they do. They just hate on everybody. But it was very noticeable, the boos that Cody was getting here tonight. They rang the bell. I will say this, when they rang the bell and the match started, it did have that big fight feel. Like there was a buzz and an energy in the crowd. Like it felt like, okay, it's go time. It's main event time. That energy level, by the way, that would be the peak. That was the peak of the energy level here in this match. At least my energy level. My energy bar was depleting the longer this thing went here. And so this match here that has been built up for weeks and weeks. John Cena, all the horrible things that he has said about Cody Rhodes. The angle at Elimination Chamber in Toronto, where he kicked this man in the balls. He embarrassed him in front of the world. He bloodied him. He left him bloody in the middle of the ring. And how does this match start? With a collar and elbow tie-up. With a collar and elbow tie-up. That's how. So Cody shoulder tackled Cena out of the ring, and they booed. They kept the pace very slow at the beginning of this match. And I figured they were building to a big crescendo here as the match went on. No, not really. That was basically the pace of the entire match. Cody drop kicked Cena out of the ring, and again, Cena had to regroup on the outside. So Cody launched himself out onto him with a suicide dive. He put him back inside. Cena went on the offensive. At this point, the reaction was mixed. Slingshot to Cody, throat first, under the bottom rope. Hey, there he is. There's Joe Hendry. Hey, John, welcome to the channel. I got to cycle through these here. They're all backed up. We got a bunch of them here appearing on screen. But John, thank you. So he booted Cody in the face, and he turned him inside out with back-to-back clotheslines. Cena was out there. This is John Cena. And so if you know anything about John Cena matches, then you know that he talks a lot. He calls spots very loudly in his matches. What I will say here about this one, he wasn't calling spots where you can hear them, but if you were looking at him, you could read it. You could just read his lips. Like he was having a fucking conversation.
I am the Lord.
Shut the fuck up. Fuck that tree.
Hey, Jeremy, thank you. Cody was having a conversation with Cena. Or maybe I should say Cena was having a conversation with Cody. But there was a lot of talking going on here in the middle of this match here. And he gave Cody a sidewalk slam for a 2 count. Then came a double axe handle off the middle rope by John Cena. Oh, he went aerial. He went to the middle rope. We haven't seen that in a while. Double axe handle off the middle rope. Then he goes over to another corner. Another double axe handle. He borrowed from the Ultimate Warrior's playbook at WrestleMania 6. At least the Warrior went up to the top rope. Cena went up to the middle rope. But that's what Warrior did in his match with Hogan when the referee got bumped, right? Double axe handle here, double axe handle there. He went for a third one, and Cody kicked him in the gut. Cody fought back, but Cena poked him in the eye, and he got cheered. And again, I keep saying it, these fans are heels. I'm going to put it on a fucking t-shirt. The fans are heels. Fans are the heels. So Cena busted out a tornado DDT off the ropes. That was honestly the biggest move he did in the entire match. I wasn't expecting that. So a tornado DDT only got a 2 count. He hit one shoulder tackle off the ropes. Usually he goes for like 2 or 3 in a row. He'll drop the opponent. He'll do the "you can't see me," right? That's his R-Truth. I mean, stole all of his moves, right? We see it all the time from him. So he hit one shoulder tackle off the ropes, and then another, and then he dropped Cody. All of his signature spots, but he paused in between each one. It was like he was doing them in slow motion. He was doing a lot of things in slow motion, but he was doing this intentionally in slow motion here. So he went for the 5-knuckle shuffle. Cody poked him in the eye, and the fans booed. Disaster kick connects. Now Cody is firing up. More boos. Cody cutter connects. Cena kicks out at 2. Cena comes back with an attitude adjustment. He covers him. Cody kicks out. So now Cena does the "you can't see me." Hits the 5-knuckle shuffle. Another AA he's going for, but Cody slips out and he rolls him up for a 2 count. Cody goes up and Cena crotches him on the top rope. Cena now goes up to the middle rope and he places Cody on his shoulders. He is going to go for an avalanche attitude adjustment. And he does it. He connects with the avalanche attitude adjustment. He covers. Here comes the 17th world title. Cody kicks out. And so now panic is setting in for John Cena. He's got a look on his face, very frustrated. What do I have to do to beat this guy? So he heads up to the top rope. Now he goes to the top. Now we're talking. And he goes for his leaping leg drop off the top rope. Cody, though, turns it into a power bomb for a near fall. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe in the SummerSlam match, I want to say 2008, that Cena had with Batista, right? That was the move where they credited the neck injury that Cena had. I think it was off that move, right? It was like a top rope counter into a powerbomb by Batista, even though that Cena was already injured. But I think they credited it to that move. So they did the same spot here in this match. Only got a near fall. Cody runs the ropes, and he jumps off for a Cody cutter, and he covers. Cena kicks out. So now Cody sets up for Crossroads. Cena, though, slips out and then hits a third attitude adjustment. And now comes the STF. Actually, Michael Cole called it the STFU, which I don't believe Cena has called it that since, what, the Thugonomics days? So he called it the STFU. Cody almost gets the ropes. Cena, though, drags him back to the center of the ring. And he locks it back on. Cody again is inching his way to the ropes. Cena drags him back again. But Cody kicks him away. And Cena, in the process, he crushes the referee in the corner. Referee Chad Patton. And I say crushes. Not really. I mean, there wasn't a lot of impact here. But the referee still has to sell it. So he goes down. Cody hits Crossroads. Cena is down. Cody covers him, but there's no referee. So he gets the visual pin. There is no ref. Cena then goes over and he pulls off one of the top turnbuckle pads in the corner. And he sends Cody headfirst into the turnbuckle, the exposed buckle, sends him into it a second time, and then he hits another attitude adjustment. That was the fourth one. The fourth attitude adjustment of this match. See, now you can tell one of the things that I absolutely hated about the second Rock Cena match was the fact that we had so much finisher spam between them. Now, we get finisher spam all the time now in wrestling. We had it even in the main event last night, but the difference is that was a much better match. That was a much more exciting match. I can ignore it to a degree if there's a great match that I'm watching here and they go a little overboard with it. But when you have a match that's fucking boring and you're just constantly relying on the finishers and the finisher spam over and over and over again, it just gets very old. And I think you tend to notice it more. I think you're willing to let more go if you're really like into the rest of the match and you're enjoying it. But if you're in the middle of a match that's just very meh or very dull, you're definitely going to notice it more. And I think it's going to bother you more. And I think that was what was going on here with me, because it's like, okay, fourth one, Cody kicks out. So now at this point in the match, we hear Fiend. Fiend.
Look at Richie Rich over here dropping all this money on me. Hey, I just want you to know, I think you rock. I don't mean The Rock, A Rock, you rock. And I just wanted you to know that.
You know, we got almost 5,000 people in here, and Bobby's World is one of them. And he just dropped a $100 bomb. Bobby's World, thank you very much. I hope you're having a good night. I will get to your message and everyone's messages in just a little bit, but we got to talk about our pal Travis Scott. We hear Fiend in the middle of this match, and John Cena is sitting in the ring. And so here comes Travis Scott with his replica belt that he had with him at Elimination Chamber. And Cena is smiling. And Travis Scott slowly, and actually there he is. We got a super chat here from Travis Scott. Travis Scott slowly, and I do mean slowly, begins to make his way down to the ring. Now, this is not the longest ramp they've ever had for WrestleMania. It was actually on the shorter side compared to some of the ones they've had. But it's still a long ramp. And they're in the middle of this main event match here. And he's taking his sweet time coming down. I'm looking at the clock. I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, okay.
I have the best moveset.
Yeah. Can we get the show on the road here? So he makes his way down. Cena reaches down. He actually helps him up like he was a little kid. He pulls him up onto the apron. And he raises Travis Scott's arm. And Cena holds Cody for Scott to take a shot. Cody fights him off, though, and Scott drops down off the apron to the floor. Crossroads to John Cena. And so Travis Scott now pulls the referee out of the ring when Cody goes for the pin. So now the referee is out on the outside. Now he's down again. Cody is now inviting Travis Scott to get into the ring. And this is where I started to get very irritated. Because I was still like, okay, The Rock is probably going to show up, or maybe somebody else will show up. We'll see what kind of nonsense we get here. And I'm sitting here at this moment. I'm like, wait a minute. I was one of the people who kind of defended the move as far as Travis Scott at the Elimination Chamber when everybody was shitting on it. I'm like, all right, you know what? He's got a name. They just wanted him to be present for it. Like, it's not a big deal. Now I'm watching this WrestleMania main event. And now Travis Scott is the only one out there. And he's involved in the middle of this pretty significant, historically significant championship match here at WrestleMania. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, is there more to this that's yet to come? Like, there has to be, right? Fucking Travis Scott is in the middle of this match here. Like, what are we doing here? So I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to get his receipt, for what he did to Cody at the Chamber. So he's inviting Travis Scott to get into the ring. And so he does. Climbs the ring steps. Jumps over the top rope. Now he's in the ring and he's face to face with Cody. And Cody dared him. He goes, I dare you to do it. I dare you. And so Travis Scott, he went to go take a shot. Oh my God. I am stunned right now. That was M. Mills with a $500 bomb. I think that's as high as you can go for one singular super chat. And she just completely just went to the max. Holy shit. It's not often I'm sitting here speechless, but I'm pretty speechless right now. Holy fucking shit. M. Mills, I don't know what to say. I mean, she is always very supportive here on these streams, but probably never more so than tonight. That is amazing. That is unbelievable. Thank you very, very much. I'm feeling the love here, which is good because this is a match I did not love. So let's get into what happened here at the finish because we're not done yet. So let's get to the next part of this here because Travis Scott is about to get a receipt. I'm still blown away by that. Travis Scott is about to get his receipt from Cody Rhodes. And he stops him when he takes a shot, and then he delivers a crossroads to Travis Scott. And to be fair, he took a pretty good crossroads. Obviously, it wasn't really a receipt for what he did to him. He busted his fucking eardrum, gave him a black eye. But he lays out Travis Scott, and he took the bump fine. Nothing wrong with that. Cody, though, doesn't see John Cena with the WWE Championship. And he tries to hit Cody with it. They wrestle for it. They're playing tug of war with the belt. I was having flashbacks here to Roman and Brock. I'm like, oh God, another tug of war with the belt. But Cody ends up getting possession of the title. And Cena begins to beg off because now he's a heel. And so John Cena has to do the one thing that we are not used to seeing John Cena do. We never used to see John Cena begging off. He's begging off. He's like, don't, please don't. Please don't. And Cody is standing there and he is conflicted. And Michael Cole is trying to tell the story and really dumb it down and break it down for us in terms that everybody can understand on commentary about what John Cena has told Cody about how, are you willing to do what it takes? Are you're going to be the good guy or are you going to be the bad guy? And Cody cannot bring himself to use this championship belt. And at that moment, when Cena realizes that Cody has made the choice that he's not going to use the title, John Cena kicks him in the dick. He delivers a low blow. And so down goes Cody Rhodes. Cody now gets back up to his feet. And Cena blasts him in the head with the WWE title. He calls over for Chad Patton, the referee, to get back in the ring. Cena covers Cody. And I'm thinking, there's no way. There's no way they're going to end this match like this. There's just no way. He crawls in, he counts 1, he counts 2, and he counts 3. And that is how John Cena becomes a record-breaking 17-time world champion. He kicks Cody in the dick, he hits him in the head with the belt, and he pins him. And that's your WrestleMania main event. We had Travis Scott. We had a dick kick for the third time in as many matches in the WrestleMania main event this weekend, and then a belt shot. And just like that, Cody's 1-year run as WWE champion, he finished the story last year, right? He's had this 1-year run as champion, has now come to an end. And John Cena is once again on top of the mountain. And Cena invites Travis Scott to get back into the ring, raises his arm, and Travis Scott is celebrating with John Cena. And Cena's like, hold your belt up, because he still has his replica belt there. And they're both posing with their respective championships in the middle of the ring. And that is how they went off the air. That is honestly how WrestleMania 41 went off the air. I have no issue with John Cena being WWE champion and breaking the record and getting one more run with the title as a heel. Like I said earlier, I think there's great potential to have some fun with this. If he's going to go in there and have matches with Randy Orton and CM Punk and all these people, I would rather the dynamic be him as a heel and them as a babyface. I think it makes it more fun. I would like to see that. I have no problem with that. What I have a problem with is the way that they went about doing it. This was completely underwhelming. This was as underwhelming a WrestleMania main event finish as we have had in years. And for such a historic moment, you would think that they had something more planned. I thought there was a possibility they might try to tie in the main event ending last night with this. And now you're getting into fantasy booking territory, and I understand it. I'm not going to hold that against them. You know, some idea that I came up with and they didn't go with the idea and I talked it into my, it's not even about that. I was waiting for something to happen here and nothing did. The match itself wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. Believe me, I've seen worse WrestleMania main events before. John Cena, what he gave us tonight is about as good as he can give us. The biggest thing he did the top rope leg drop that got countered into a powerbomb. That's probably the biggest move I've seen him do in years. You're going to get what you get now from John Cena. You know, it's his last year. He's older now. He was never the most, technically gifted performer to begin with. What you see is what you get with John Cena. What we saw tonight is as good as you could possibly expect to get. So that's why in the future, when it comes to matches with a Punk or an Orton, a lot of it is going to come down to, honestly, the atmosphere. Where are they? The fans? How loud are they and invested are they in the match? It'll be about the atmosphere, I think, more than the quality of the match itself, because he has limitations. We see what those limitations are. The match itself was nothing special. The finish was even worse. The finish was atrocious. And the fact that they sent Travis Scott out there, who I understand he's training to wrestle, and so they're going to want him to get involved here. Maybe he'll wrestle a match at some point. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. If he wrestles, great. If he doesn't, fine. But the fact that they sent him out there and The Rock couldn't be bothered to be at WrestleMania, why was The Rock involved in this story to begin with? Explain that to me. And I don't want to hear, well, The Rock had to be involved because that was the spark that led to the John Cena heel turn. Any number of ways you could have turned John Cena heel. You could have turned John Cena heel at WrestleMania. Now, it would have made for an even more boring build because you would have had two babyface John Cena, babyface Cody Rhodes. They're like one and the same, right? That would have been pretty fucking boring. But looking at what they did, I'm not so sure it wouldn't have been a better idea if they insisted on doing this match to just save the heel turn for WrestleMania. But then I guess it would have clashed with what they did last night. Because we had a heel turn last night, right? With the Triple Cross. With Heyman and Punk and Rollins and Reigns. But I'm not so sure it wouldn't have been a better idea to save the big John Cena heel turn and title change for the same night. Instead, we had John Cena as a heel on television for, 3 times, whatever it was. Not giving us a whole lot of anything. No mention of The Rock after that amazing angle they did at the Elimination Chamber. And so you're like, well, Rock's not showing up on TV. I'm sure he'll be at WrestleMania. I'm sure there'll be some, either twist to this or he'll be there. He'll be involved in some way. We'll get the next, chapter of this. We got nothing. We got nothing. Everything was built around selling their soul to The Rock. And The Rock couldn't even be bothered to be there at WrestleMania. He didn't have to be involved in this at all. If all he was going to do was inject himself into a story that he had no business even being a part of. John Cena had already won the Elimination Chamber. He had already earned the right to challenge for the championship at WrestleMania. You didn't need to involve The Rock in this story. You got people's hopes up at the end of the Chamber pay-per-view for something that you were never going to deliver on. Because if they were going to, we would have had more than what we got here at the end of WrestleMania. It's fucking WrestleMania. And this is the ending that they come up with? So I don't know what's up with The Rock. I don't know if he's busy with something else. I don't know what his schedule is like. But I don't care. Like, I'm looking at where we were and how we got here. And I'm just wondering, why did he have to be involved in this at all? If there was not going to be any follow-up. And you know I just find this hilarious, because I'm sure you're going to have people who are going to be like, oh, well, still, you got to let it play out. Maybe he'll show up. You got to let it play out. Dude, the last time we saw him was March 1st. WrestleMania is over. Okay, it's been 6 or 7 weeks. If it hasn't happened by now, we're not seeing him. And even if we do, what's it going to be? One appearance and then he disappears again? The Rock didn't need to be a part of this. That's why I said at the beginning of this review, I think what's going on here is The Rock is who he is. He's on the board of TKO. He's a big-time celebrity. And when The Rock decides he wants to come back and do something, he comes back and does it. And whatever their plans are, be damned. You know, I almost feel bad for Triple H, but not really. But like, if you're on the creative team, just imagine. You know, The Rock is like, hey, I'm Bad Blood, Atlanta. I'm going to be in Atlanta. Okay, we got to work him into the show. Now you're getting everyone's hopes up. Oh shit, The Rock is here. They must have some big plan, right? Then we don't see him again for 3 or 4 months. Then he comes back out of the blue. Out of the blue. And he wants Cody to sell his soul to him. They're continuing that story. Ooh, let's see where this is going to go. And then they turn John Cena heel in his retirement year, one of the biggest names in the history of this company, and he turns heel for the first time in 2 decades, right? That's big fucking news. And he's there with The Rock. Wow, this is exciting. Where is this going to go? And it goes nowhere. It's such a cock tease with everything that they have been doing up until this point. I don't understand the point of it. And if you don't have any great idea to really follow up on that and do something with it, then don't fucking do it. That's what I don't understand. So the ending of this WrestleMania sucked, but I'm hopeful that with Cena as the champion, we'll get some fun matches out of it with some old opponents that he can work with one last time before he rides off into the sunset, before he does his redemption arc, which we all know is coming later in the year. It's just a shame that they did what they did tonight in this match, his last WrestleMania match. Now, one of the odd things about John Cena is for as long as he's been in this company, and for all the great matches that he's had, so many of them, most of them, have not happened at WrestleMania, right? He had that one great match with Shawn Michaels, which wasn't even the best match they had that month. But yeah, they had a pretty good match at WrestleMania in Detroit, and he's had some good ones. But for all the great matches that this guy's been a part of, really none of them have happened at WrestleMania. And I was there for the 2 Rock matches. The first Rock match was a big deal. It was the clash of 2 generations. I wouldn't say it was one of his best matches, though. It's kind of odd how when you look at his body of work, there's hardly, in my opinion anyway, there's hardly anything in that like upper tier of what he's done that has actually happened at WrestleMania. And unfortunately, this match is not going to be added to that list either, because I didn't think this match was anything great. It's almost like Cody had to dumb things down because they worked at a very deliberately slow pace. And they kept that pace for pretty much the entire, like it didn't build to anything. They just kept that pace for the entire match because, again, Cena is limited in what he can do. And so it's unfortunate. It was a huge come down from the last 2 years of Cody main events. Because we've seen Cody go out there and, you know, tear it up with Roman and Seth and, you know, all these different people. This was not that. And it started with such high hopes with that opening match, and it peaked. It peaked with the opening match. So I go back to what I said at the beginning of this review. WrestleMania Saturday was a very mediocre, sometimes very boring show with an excellent main event. And WrestleMania Sunday was largely a very good to great show until we got to the main event. It's like the tale of 2 WrestleMania shows. WrestleMania 41 will not go down as one of the great WrestleManias that they've ever done. Unfortunately. What did you think of WrestleMania Night 2? Let's take a look at the Twitter poll. And again, under 50% here for thumbs up. 48% thumbs up. About 31% thumbs in the middle and 21% thumbs down. And we already have almost 4,000 votes in on the poll. So you can go vote at Solomonster and follow on X. That is where you can go. Wrestling Buff says 41 is better than 40. No, it's not. No, it's not. $39 and $40 were better than this. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Telling you though, the best thing, man.
It's the amazing.
The ending last night was great.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Hey, plus Ultra Adrian, thank you very much. The ending last night was great. The beginning tonight was great. I really like that Fatal 4-Way for the IC title. There was definitely some good stuff between the two nights, but when all is said and done, I was underwhelmed. Yeah, Jacob, that's his opinion. He enjoyed 41 more. But he said it was better. I'm telling you, I don't think it was. That's my opinion. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Let's see what you guys thought of the show. Thank you, by the way. We're running hot with almost 5,000 here for a good chunk of the review, so I appreciate that. Yeah, Zachary said 40 is an all-timer Mania. It was, yeah, more so the main event. Like, that was an all-timer main event last year. Hey, Curtis, welcome to the channel. And Tony, man, we got a lot, oh boy. This isn't even all of them. We got a lot to get into. By the way, we were very close tonight. I should check and see where we are, because we were very close to 86,000 subscribers. And I wasn't sure if we were going to break that tonight. And we did. So thank you guys.
Off is a direction you can fuck.
Well, that's just mean. That's just very rude. We passed 86,000 subs, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. All right, let me scroll back to the early ones. I want to make sure I don't miss any of them here. And we'll go through these. And once I go through all the early ones, you'll see the scrolling begin on your screen if you're new here. That's the way it works.
I have the best moveset.
The best moveset. Oh, man. Let's see. Where do we begin here?
It's the amazing Gunther.
Oh, the amazing Gunther is getting a workout.
Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
He is getting quite the workout, isn't he? All right, we're beginning with Dark Effect. I'm going all the way back to our boy Dark Effect.
It's the amazing Gunther.
Oh, jeez.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Man, you're going to give Gunther heart palpitations. You keep running this guy ragged here. Dark Effect actually is not with us live. But he was earlier. He said, can't join live tonight. I've got to work, so I'll catch WrestleMania after I get off and then watch your review. Says, which I always look forward to as much as the wrestling shows themselves. Well, thank you, Dark Effect. That's very kind of you to say that. I appreciate that. I love hearing that. Thank you, brother. We got Saeed. Night one was so mid, I fell asleep and missed the main event. Manifesting an amazing night two. I don't know if he's going to be happy. JDF, well, he should be, though. I think the majority of the show is very good. JDF VA, can we appreciate Green Shirt Guy for being here? I would like to know what the deal is with Green Shirt Guy, because I don't know if you noticed this, but on the pre-show, like a half an hour before the show, they had Jackie Redmond was coming. I think she was on the ramp or she was coming down the ramp. And Green Shirt Guy was being escorted down the ramp He got to walk down the WrestleMania ramp. Who is this guy? And how was he able to walk down the ramp? Did he have to pay extra for that? Is that some kind of VIP package? We got GMB. Are we sure Bianca isn't Mrs. WrestleMania? Great classics against Mercedes, Becky, and this triple threat. Even the Asuka match was solid. She's certainly building up a resume for it. She's had some great matches at WrestleMania. Holiday says, if they do another draft, I would like to see Rhea move to SmackDown and Charlotte should go to Raw. Charlotte needs to get away from Tiffany. Yeah, I would agree on that.
I'm squawking like a bird. Jesus Christ.
Speaking of Charlotte, the timing on that. Yeah, Charlotte was squawking like a bird. That's one of the reasons why I agree with you.
It's the amazing Gunther. Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
All hail the mighty one himself. That's why
It's the amazing Gunther. Jerry Lawler loves Gunther the Magnificent.
Oh my God.
All hail Gunther.
It's Pax Basonica getting in on the Gunther party. Do we have another? I think we're done. Okay. Anthony, welcome to the channel. He's like, what the hell is going on here? Boy, this guy Gunther, he gets more tries than a doorknob. The Carlosis. Who wins in a make you want to tear your ears off match between Pat McAfee and Fiend versus Nails on a Chalkboard? Don't think Nails and Chalkboard stand a chance after WrestleMania. I don't think so either. Terrible dried chicken without flavor. From boo this man to cheer this man, Dominik Mysterio has redeemed himself. My warning to WWE, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let Dom cook. It's also just one crowd, so, I mean, we have to wait and see. I don't know that he's going to be cheered like that everywhere he goes. We did smash, by the way, the earlier goal. We probably smashed it 2 hours ago for the bonus Be the Booker, so we're getting 2 rounds tonight. Although at this rate, I mean, I see another fucking 5 Gunthars. I might have to add a 3rd round, but we're going to do 2 rounds. So stay tuned for that. Let me get through these here, though. Base Beerus, thank you, says, rest in peace, TNA. Jabroni World Champion. King Nader, super chat for Dirty Dom's win. Congratulations. I'm so happy for him. He's come quite a long way. If you remember him when he first came into the company, that little timid, well, he's not so little, I guess, but that timid kid when he came in with the short haircut compared to how he is now, it's like a totally different person. Jamie Dorsch, that Joel Henry guy treated like a chump. You can't even get his name right, Jamie. It's not Joel Hendry. It's Joe Hendry. St. Clair, are there any WrestleMania matches that you consider guilty pleasures or are underrated? Jake the Snake and Undertaker at WrestleMania 8 is not what I would call like a great match, but I enjoy it. I mean, would that count? I don't think that's a hated match, but it's not a great match, but I don't know, there's just something about it. I really enjoy it. I'm sure there are others. St. Clair, are there any? Oh, thank you. The Real CS, what a moment for TNA. Some people are going to say WWE buried their world champion, but I disagree. Well, again, they kind of did him dirty there at the very end, but he got himself a WrestleMania moment. I don't think he minds. I don't think TNA minds either, honestly. They got to be loving the shit out of that. The Notorious MAG. Happy for EO, but this WrestleMania this year was lackluster. Stone Cold came out before the main event and knew I was done. First time that I was disappointed to hear the glass shatter. What the hell happened this year, Solo? I think they got complacent. You know, when you're setting gate records and you're moving tickets and everything that they're still doing big business and big box office. You do worry about complacency setting in. That could be part of it. But I mean, we talked about this build to WrestleMania and how lackluster it felt. And I was hoping that this WrestleMania would just blow me away because my expectations were not sky high coming into it. But there's a reason why the build felt so mid. You know, that could be part of it. Just wasn't as invested in all of these stories as I would have liked to have been. Chris O'Neill, looks like early retirement for the lady that fell when Austin hit the wall. It's such a joke. When I went back and I watched it, like, dude, it's not even really accurate to say that she fell. She just sort of like, you know, sat down in her chair. Like, give me a break. Could have ended very badly, though. Terrible Dried Chicken. John Cena heel turn was great, but his heel run is very underwhelming. Stone Cold Steve Austin heel turn was bad, but his heel run was underrated. I'd say that's a fair way to put it. Josh Worthington. I'm glad Cena won, but what a shit ending and no Rock. I guess he couldn't be bothered to come to Vegas after all the speculation. I guess not. Base Beerus, weird booking and logic in the main event. Happy Cena won, but it feels weird. Also, Cody and Hendry, fools. Cody nearly unalives Owens, but not Cena. Triple H put all his efforts into his Hall of Fame ceremony. You know what? Maybe that's part of what it was. He spent more time working on his Hall of Fame speech than he did on coming up with a better finish for WrestleMania. Rob Bass, this WrestleMania was the showcase of the false finishers. Robbie H5, so what the fuck was the point of The Rock at the Chamber? You tell me. What was the point of The Rock at Bad Blood? The Rock shows up when he feels like showing up, when he gets bored. Maybe you know what I think happened? I think I know what happened. I think I just figured it out. I think that The Rock is still trying to figure out that Rubik's Cube that he posted on Instagram. And so he was more interested in just sitting at home trying to figure out how to master the Rubik's Cube. And he just lost track of time and he missed his flight. That's what I think happened. Holiday 197, this pay-per-view underwhelmed. There needs to be better long-term booking and penciling things in early for WrestleMania. This includes the mid-card. Rock should have been there. Schmidt, Night 1 main event was amazing, and the best match of WrestleMania. Night 2 main event was the worst. That was awful. Oh well, at least my favorites, Dom and Sol Ruka, each won belts. Yes, Sol Ruka, the new NXT North American Women's Champion. Dallas says, literally leaving WrestleMania as I type this, I saw thousands of fans, family and kids in Cena gear and cheering him like he never turned heel. It's as if all the promo work was for nothing, LOL. Well, they bought their tickets to see John Cena's last WrestleMania match. They got to see history made. He won his 17th World Championship, so I'm sure they're very happy. Honestly, he was probably a babyface when they bought their tickets. So they're like, fuck it. We're gonna celebrate like we intended to when we bought these tickets. As far as we're concerned, he's a babyface. Dry Chicken says, congrats to Cena getting number 17, but the main event was mid and underwhelming. Night 1 main event better than Night 2's main event. Well, I mean, my God. That's like having a filet mignon on this plate and a plate of shit over here and saying, you know what? I think the filet mignon tasted better. Come on. Johnny Burney. Cena sold to The Rock because Travis Scott was the key to 17. Yeah, I can't make any sense of it either, dude. It's fucking stupid. Carlos says, that ending was dookie, but I'm happy for John. The ladies' triple threat was the best thing this Mania weekend. It was pretty great. We got
the amazing Gunther.
He's back again.
Jerry Lawler loves Gunther, the Magnificent. All hail Gunther.
Hey, Jay Edios with a $49.99 Gunther bomb. Here for night 2 of WrestleMania. Thank you, brother. I'm playing catch up here. I promise you, this column on the left is going to start moving soon, but I'm going through all the early ones now. Ozzy Nandos. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention? Oh, gosh. What's the actor's name? God, I forgot the actor's name. Hank from Breaking Bad. Dean Norris. Dean Norris was among the celebrities that were shown in the crowd tonight because he's on one of the current Law & Order shows. And I think Organized Crime. But I'm like, they show him on screen, and I'm like, holy shit, it's Hank Schrader at WrestleMania. That was pretty cool. I forgot to mention that. Ozzy Nando says Logan Paul wore similar gear to Chris Benoit. Did he? I didn't notice that. That's quite the choice if he did. Austin Blanchett, Cody clearly carried the match. John is clearly at the end of the line in ring-wise. Rock not being there sucked. By the way, was that Austin's last ATV drive? I believe it was. I'm going to say yes on that. I don't think we'll see him riding the ATV to the ring ever again. Sam Bluestein, yet another year the women should have main evented. Well, hindsight is always 20/20, as they say. I can't disagree with you, though, that easily could have been the main event on either night. Isaiah, it's such a cool moment for Dom to win the Intercontinental title, just like his father, Eddie. Like father, like son. He's already got his mamacita. Now he has the IC title. Austin. So let me get this straight. Travis Scott supported Jay winning. Jay is a babyface. Oh, that's right. He came out with Jey Uso on that. Was that the first Netflix Raw, right? He came out and supported Jay, but he supported Cena, a heel. Make it make sense. Also, love you, Solomonster. Happy Easter. Thank you. Thank you, Austin. It's a good point. I guess Travis Scott just goes whichever way the wind blows. Jamie Dorsch. A much better show tonight. Main event so-so. Happy to see Cena win, but what a lame way for Cena to beat Cody. Having Cody kick out of 4 AAs. Then a low blow and a belt shot with a delayed count beats him in the end. Think of everything Cody kicked out of last year. And all it took this year was what we saw. I guess Cody just didn't have it in him this year. Scody Clash, I could have written a better ending. In fact, I gave you my ending last night. At least Cena is champion, but this was very underwhelming as a main event. Mr. Andrew, sure do love watching a baby say, I won't let you down, and have him take away the title from you. And then he loses.
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck that tree.
A Bret Hart. What's going on, Bread? Scody says, or Mr. Andrew, sure do love watching a babyface say, I won't let you down, and have him take away the title from you, and then he loses. People like superheroes that they believe in, and make the bad guy go away, not to get kicked in the balls and lose. Yeah, you know, the interesting thing will be to see what kind of reaction Cody gets going forward. It was a real risk putting him in there like that. because there was always a chance Cena was going to get cheered anyway, because it's his last WrestleMania. And people wanted to see history made with number 17. So he got booed pretty badly tonight in a way that he has never been booed before since he came back to the company. Does that carry over into Raw and SmackDown this week? Or was it just an isolated WrestleMania thing? I don't think it'll be hard for him to win the crowd back if they do start booing him more, but yeah, I knew that this was a risk. I mean, I talked about this before. Like, I wouldn't have even done the match. I wouldn't have had Cena as his opponent at WrestleMania. Cena could have won number 17 at SummerSlam. Down Bad says, Fiend. Austin says, I question how much blame goes to Triple H and how much blame goes to The Rock. I don't know why, but lately it just seems like everything Dwayne does sucks. 89 Tech, that tug of war for the belt was cringe-inducing. Yeah, it just brought back bad memories for me. Like, I was like, oh, God. Irenzo. That main event was in need of some overbooking. Yeah, last year was a great example of overbooking, but in a good way. Also, where was The Rock? So many angles they could have done, but at least Travis bumping was funny. Chris Carosi. Because WWE is so obsessed with celebrity validation, they put Travis Scott in that crucial spot. It totally deflated the match and distorted the impact of Cena's historic win. A swing and a miss. It's well said. Lakers Pats, Cena versus Flair, SummerSlam 60-minute Iron Man match. Jamie says, rest in peace, Austin coming to the ring on ATVs. Uffman Entertainment, be gentle in your review. Remember what Nick Khan said. WWE are the underdogs. Zombified Guitarist. Also, what kind of 2K games menu theme was that? I don't know when he sent that. I don't know what song he's referring to. Unless he's referring to the song, the Sandman song I used at the beginning of the stream, called Rise. Dorenzo. All in all, a very good night too, but that anticlimactic ending sucked. If they switched the main events of night 1 or 2 and had the women main event, night 2 would have been an all-timer. J-Rock says, dogs can't operate MRI machines, but cats can. Very good. Very good. 89 Tech Travis, Buggy Whip Arm Scott. According to my inner cornet, he says. Dorenzo, overall a good WrestleMania, but for real, Triple H can fuck off with that just be a fan, not a critic BS. Just screams being dismissive of criticism. Yeah, I mean, it just screams gotten to. That's what it screams to me. Joseph. Solo, that was one of the worst main events I've ever seen, even by Mania standards. What an unbelievable waste. Triple H should be reprimanded or something. By who? By who? They think this shit is great. They think it's cinema. Everything's cinema. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut up and enjoy the ride. Holiday 197. It's interesting that the best matches of WrestleMania were all multi-person matches. Reigns against Punk against Rollins was the match of the pay-per-view, followed by the Women's World Title and the IC title match. You know, that's a very good point. Those were the best matches on both nights. It was all the multi-person matches. Who knew? The multi-person matches are what carried WrestleMania this year. David Thiering with the $150 bomb from 2 hours ago. Although WWE did get the right outcome with Cena winning 17, how did we get there? No Rock, no Rollins or Heyman, had me at the end saying, that's it? That's all you got, WWE? It's almost as if night 2 is the inverse of night 1. Very disappointing main event. It was. Joseph Stewart, could Liv Morgan win the women's Intercontinental title at Backlash, and both her and Dominik can be champions, IC champions, at the same time? Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I don't know that they're going to do that, but Liv doesn't have the tag title anymore, so it's possible, yeah. And then they both go around with their IC titles. David with another $150 bomb. Also, one more. Believe in the monster in honor of Joe Hendry, who got turned into a meme by Randy Orton tonight during his match. Thanks to that spot where Randy hit him with an RKO after his turn and pose. That was a very funny moment. David, thank you very much for the support last night and tonight. You're awesome. You already know that. Mr. X, thank you for the membership. Zach Jones says, super happy that Joe Hendry got an unexpected Mania moment, but that ending legitimately makes me want to take a super long break away from Triple H's version of the WWE product. Love you, Solomonster. Thanks for all that you do for us. Thank you, Zach. Well, you could take a break from Triple H's product. Just don't take a break from the sound off. I'll be here to break it all down for you. Duff's Vids, I give the edge to night 1. The atmosphere and crowd seem better on night 1. This main event was Rock's booking idea, not Triple H. You know what? I'm not so sure about that. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But at the end of the day, Triple H is the head of creative. He's the chief content officer. Rock's not there. Triple H is. This is on him. You know, it's on everybody who was involved in the planning of this. Rock is certainly not absolved from this just because he wasn't there. He absolutely had a role in this because, again, this whole storyline, it goes back to him getting involved. And it served no purpose. It got people's hopes up for something that they just didn't deliver on. When you do that, you appropriately will get criticized for it. Marcus says Cena should not have turned heel to begin with. You may be right. Alex with the 25. What a disgraceful and awful main event. When you expect Rock or Austin or Rollins and you get that shit. I was telling my friend that recently we just look forward to your reviews rather than the actual fucking show. You know, you wouldn't believe how many people I've heard that from. Over time, not even just recently, but just like over time. Crazy. Man, this night was so bad it just made me shake my head and laugh. Can you imagine if because there were reports about this. You know, there were reports that Rock, it was his idea. He wanted Cody to go heel. And Cody said no. So they presented the idea to Cena. Cena was like, yeah, whatever. And so if it was Rock's idea for Cena to go heel, I think Triple H is taking credit that it was his idea. But if Rock had any involvement in this and then he kind of like bowed out, I mean, you talk about, you know, potentially fucking up the final year of one of the biggest stars in the history of the company. You know, if that was the whole plan and how it all came about. You know, Cena has said before, he doesn't really lobby or politic for anything. He just does what they tell him to do. I can see that. I can see that because you would think somebody with, you know, that kind of stroke that I'm sure he would have if he wanted to exercise it would look at this and go, you know what, this might not be a great idea. The formatting of this match may not be a great idea. But he's just like, yeah, whatever you want to do, let's do it. I believe it now. Joseph Stewart, buy or sell. Bret Hart versus Diesel at Survivor Series or Shawn Michaels against Diesel, best friends, better enemies. I go with the Shawn Michaels and Diesel match. The Sheriff of Patties. The main event was even more lame than Travis Scott's overrated Nike collabs. It was a much better night tonight, but with a sour taste ending. Joe Law, thank you for the membership. We got Daniel Carr, I love you solo. Thank you, Daniel. Tim Bode. Serious conversations about Triple H as a booker and producer need to be had after this event. I think there's going to be a lot of conversations on social media and on podcasts about that very subject and what he was thinking. Mr. Rod, Joe Hendry at WrestleMania is hands down shock of the weekend. Definitely was not expecting that to happen. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun moment. I wouldn't call it the shock of the weekend, though. I mean, I guess there were people who would have said they saw the ending coming on night one. So I guess in that regard, maybe you could say that. I still think what we ended up getting on night one would technically be the big shock of the weekend, even though a lot of people probably saw it coming. Obviously, that was a much bigger moment. Ross Lomban, we love you solo. So much respect and trust we have for you, which leads to more respect, and trust, which leads to more love. Is that the math equation that you've put together here? It's too late to be doing math. But thank you. We got Rob. I am a Cena hater. I was happy when Cena lost the Royal Rumble. I was expecting Cena to win number 17 for the story. But this was bad. Is this how Cena is going to ruin wrestling? I think it's working. Yeah, you know what? He did say that, didn't he? He said he wants to ruin wrestling. He kind of ruined the WrestleMania main event tonight, so I think he's really leaning into this heel gimmick. Joe Law, Triple H did not mention Rock at the Hall of Fame. It's a good point. He spoke for like an hour, didn't he? He singled out a lot of people, including Mick Foley, but I guess he didn't mention Rock. And Rock is probably his greatest rival. I would say Rock is his greatest rival. Maybe he's his greatest rival in real life, too. That's why he didn't mention him. King Nader, congratulations to John Cena for winning number 17. But the match was crap. I feel that turning Cena was a mistake. So underwhelming. Yeah, it's a shame. When all is said and done and we're able to look back on this heel turn and really judge it, I do wonder if that's kind of how a lot of people are going to feel. And it would be a shame, in his final year that they finally turned him heel and it just didn't work and felt like, man, they really ruined what should have been a big celebratory moment. I hope not. I mean, I hope they could turn it around and we can get some real fun stuff out of it. But I do wonder if it was a mistake, if that should have been saved for like a big babyface moment. Tonight wasn't it, though. Tonight was not it. A Gorilla with the $36 super chat. Travis Scott was so out of place in that finish. I would almost feel bad for him if he wasn't such a scumbag. Paul Van Summeren. We saw Travis now more than we've seen Rock since Elimination Chamber. The main event was like a turd topping off a nice ice cream sundae. Mr. Rod, Lyra is now a double champion, and congrats to her and Becky. Bayley heel turn loading. Well, Becky or Bayley, but I guess Bayley would make more sense, given what happened to her. She got bounced. Fabian Garcia. I did not feel the struggle for either of them to want to be champion. This WrestleMania felt like it just happened, like 33 or 34. Kate Love, thank you for the 20, Kate. EJ Slump. Have wrestlers not learned to wear a cup after the Styles Nakamura feud? Kurt Angle is the only smart one. How come Russo knew to book that and not WWE? Because even a broken clock is right twice a day. We got Jeremy Rose with the 22. Match ending was utter bullshit. Where the fuck is The Rock? Why doesn't he ever follow through on storylines that he starts? TKO sucks. Only care about celebrities and viral moments, not wrestling moments. Vince would not end like this. No, Vince would have had Roman Reigns in year 6 of his title reign, retaining his championship. King Nader, holy shit, I didn't see this until just now. King Nader gifted 50 channel memberships. And now it is being buried by Triple H. I'm sorry, King Nader. You've been buried. Jeremy Rose, imagine paying those prices to see those shows. Thank you, TKO. You saved me. Yeah. That's true. Although I'm the people who are there live, I'm sure it's always more fun to be there live. But that's a very good point. I'm sure there were people who also went who were like, man, I gave my left kidney to come to this show and this is the ending you gave me. The Fiend song is now a horror theme. Oh man, Holiday says, I believe Cena should have beaten Gunther and won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania instead as a babyface. The World Heavyweight Championship needs the rub and the attention of Cena holding it as his 17th world title. Then Cena could have turned heel after WrestleMania with a heel run. Cena and Gunther is the match that I pitched, but I pitched it for SummerSlam. I pitched a totally different idea for Cena, where if you gave him a title shot at WrestleMania, he would have failed. And he would have, knowing that his year was winding down, like the year becomes the struggle to win 17 and to try just to win and to redeem himself after all these losses. And then maybe he even wins Money in the Bank and calls his shot in advance for SummerSlam and challenges Gunther and wins the title there. Like I mapped this all out. And I mapped it out because I thought it would be a really good idea. They chose to go a different way with it. Justin G, they really tried to see how little a build they could get away with and how much they could really charge for it. Well, I think they found their answer. Mr. X, WWE conquered the indie system with the ID programs and took over AAA in Mexico. They did a covert takeover of the continent. They did what Vince did to the territories, but nicely. I had a whole segment on the podcast, episode 910, earlier today, talking about the AAA stuff. We don't have a lot of information yet, but I did comment on this, so I would advise you to check that out. You're not wrong. X-Raven, I'm okay with 17, but I don't know how anyone in good faith can be excited for a Cena singles match after this. It's time to face the music, guys. Cena can't go anymore. Who knows when he'll be back also. I think he's going to be on SmackDown this Friday. I will not be here, unfortunately, to see what the follow-up is. But he is scheduled for SmackDown this Friday. So we'll probably get a quick promo, and that's it. Would be my guess. I don't have his schedule in front of me. They were adding some dates to it. After this week, I'm not sure when the next time is that we're going to see him, but I don't think it's for until Backlash. He'll be a Backlash. I don't know after Friday if he's scheduled for anything until Backlash, which is on May 10th. I don't think so. RDS Harry, that finish was lazy booking at its finest. I expected more from that main event. Honestly, the women's triple threat was great. That should have closed. He's on Raw tomorrow, I'm being told. Okay. Did they announce that on the post show? Okay, that must be new. So he's going to be on Raw tomorrow night. Good. So we won't have to wait that long. Duff's Vids. What do you call a run on a bike? A Virgin Mobile. Oh, a nun. Why did I say run? I was like, that doesn't make any sense. What do you call a nun on a bike? A Virgin Mobile. Very, very nice. I completely botched it. Now I get it. Power spying games. Triple H should not have booked Travis without The Rock. That's what was so weird about it, dude. Like, when Travis Scott comes out, it's like, okay, we know The Rock is coming out. And then he doesn't. It's like Travis Scott is the main eventer here. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is ridiculous. Who thought this would be a great idea? It's one thing to have Travis Scott there, but to not have The Rock there with him is just fucking ridiculous. Herb Abrams. As long as I never have to hear the word fiend ever again, I'll be happy. Avwunu. All champions that retain came out first. Fabian says, know what's crazy? 2-night SummerSlam. Oh, God. Forgot, yeah. We got 2 nights of SummerSlam. Power spying games, but The Rock seems like a nuisance creatively. He is. Imagine if you're putting together ideas and then all of a sudden, hey, The Rock, he's got a great idea. He's showing up next week. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I remember when he first appeared on SmackDown in February, out of nowhere. They had already announced some stuff for the show, and then all of a sudden it was off the show because he probably showed up late in the process and they had to kind of reconfigure things to accommodate him on the show. You know, just blew everything up. Chrissy says, Lindor cold streak ended before May. I think this is the year. I think so too. There's a special feeling around that Mets team right now. I got a good feeling. Of course, it's only April. But just let me have my good feeling. We've got Troutfish. Troutfish says, the problem with that main event is Travis Scott, of all people, cost Cody the match. Why not Rock or Seth and Heyman or hell, anyone else? That was insulting. It will go down that for John Cena's 17th World Championship win, Travis Scott is the one who interfered on his behalf and helped him win. He provided enough of a distraction that it cost Cody the title and John Cena made history. Duff's vids, why is Dwayne Johnson the only one that can turn lesbians? Because Rock beat Scissors. Herb Abrams, feet, says Quentin Tarantino. Chris Perry, wonder how Bayley feels. I don't know, after this WrestleMania main event, she probably feels like, I don't know, if you would have put Bayley in there, if it would have been Bayley in there against Cody, it probably would have been a better match. Antonio Curtis says, being from Ireland, I have a limited baseball knowledge, but my team is the Mets because of you, LOL. I also like supporting underdog teams. Well, you've hitched your wagon to the perfect team. I have a good feeling about this year. Duff's vids, why does the Easter Bunny hide his eggs? He doesn't want anyone to know he had sex with his chickens. You got a dirty mind, you know that? Jeremy Rose, if WWE produced the Super Bowl, they would have Taylor Swift come out for Mahomes and throw GWTD to Kelsey. Oh, game-winning touchdown. Then tell us it's the greatest person bowl ever. Person bowl? Triple H is turning into Tony Khan. I wouldn't go that far. Let's not get carried away now. Why do astronomers put meat in their showers? So they can have a meteor shower. Truly Spencer, I'm glad I got to go, but the ending was atrocious. I won't ask how much he paid. Power spying games. I think Triple H is really frustrated with Rocky. How much more will The Rock change creative plans to benefit himself and then not commit to the story? I hadn't realized that he didn't mention him in his Hall of Fame speech. I think that is very telling. Aaron Tucker, thank you for the membership. Mr. X, WrestleMania 9 arena set better than WrestleMania 40 arena. So you were digging the toga party, huh? Duff's Vids, what's the difference between Iron Man and Iron Woman? One's a superhero and one is a command. Took me 4 seconds, but I finally got it. Edwin Garcia, my goodness. Edwin Garcia, prediction, John Cena will bring back the spinner. Oh, no. Why did you have to say that? He will bring back the spinner belt on Raw tomorrow night to troll the fans. You know, that's exactly what they're going to do. So they can sell them. Oh, damn it. Why did you have to go say that? Arabian Night, WWE just doesn't do great in-ring pay-per-view PLEs anymore consistently. AEW set a high bar with their in-ring that not much in WWE in that aspect lives up, in my opinion. Yeah, AEW generally does a great job with the quality of their pay-per-views. They're just too fucking long. Mr. X, TKO status is like Disney with Star Wars IP. They don't care about fresh stories, just rinse and repeat and overcharge. Duff's Vids. I got a job as a senior director at Old McDonald Farm. I'm the CIEIO. Seymour Tang. Is it weird that while I hated the ending as much as you did, I'm looking forward to seeing his reign since he has a ton of dates scheduled? I said the same thing. I'm hopeful that we can have some fun with this now. There's a reason I picked him to win. I wanted him to win as a heel. But I just thought what we got in that main event was garbage. It was just fucking hot garbage. Duff's Vids, what do you call an Asian Dwayne Johnson? The Walk. The Walk says. Ty Arts. Hey, Solo, appreciate you. Your thoughts on the 2020s in wrestling so far. WrestleMania 41 equals a 6 out of 10 show, in my opinion. The 2020s so far, I mean, we've gotten a lot of good stuff. We've gotten some bad stuff. I don't know where it sits compared to other decades. We're not done with it yet, but I mean, there's been a lot of good stuff. There's been a lot of crazy stories. I don't know that we've had this run of just craziness in wrestling in terms of just kind of general wrestling stories and partnerships and acquisitions and all kinds of nonsense and insanity like we've had in the last 5 years. And Jinder Mahal versus Ryback. Who is worse and why? Ryback. Jinder's actually a cool guy. Travis Scott says Fiend. I don't know why that popped me. Thank you, Travis Scott. JDFVA, DB was right. Fickle. The fickle fans, huh? The average grunt. Should this not count as Cena's 17th and 18th reign as world champions, since according to their website, both the WWE and Universal titles are still active? Just ignore that. That doesn't mean anything. It's the WWE Championship. They don't mention the Universal. They say Undisputed. What the fuck does that even mean? The Universal title doesn't exist anymore. It's one championship. I don't care what the website says. So it's 17. As far as I'm concerned, it's 17. Uffman Entertainment. Wait, I thought us fans were the authority. I mean, that's what they told us. We got F Banked. Why is Michelle McCool in the Hall of Fame? I don't make those decisions. Holiday 197. What makes this worse is that there doesn't seem to be anything to look forward to after WrestleMania or anything interesting outside of the Heyman Rollins storyline. Hoping they have good things planned. Power spying games, buy or sell. AEW title scene or WWE title scene. Anything right now with Jon Moxley and the Death Riders to me is just a fail. So, WWE title scene. There's a lot of great challengers for the AEW title, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm terribly excited about the title scene and title situation right now with the AEW title that we have not seen since October, by the way. Bobby's World with a $100 bomb from 2 hours ago. Night 2 was way more fun than night 1, I thought, overall. This one, though, is for the mods working their asses off tonight. I see you. There are people saying Vince should come back. Vince, F off. Keep him in his crib with his binky where he belongs. Yeah, I mean, the only people saying that are idiots. Pay no attention to them. Seymour says Solomonster's stance feels rare these days. It's 100% possible to hold Triple H's feet to the fire with bad creative decisions without adding, I want Vince back. Seems like too many people do that. Yeah, too many idiots do that. You'll never hear me say that. Duff's Vids says, my mom died when I couldn't remember her blood type. And as she was dying, she kept telling me, be positive. Where do you find these? It's like some sort of almanac or something that he just pulls them out from, and it's like this never-ending stream. Travis Scott, the irony of Travis Scott appearing on 420 is not lost on me. Maybe that's the only reason he appeared. We have the Minotaur. Solo, been watching for 2 years since WrestleMania 39. Never get to watch your reviews live, so I wanted to show some love while I am here. Buy or sell main event run-ins, Travis Scott or Wheeler Yuta? Oh my God. Wheeler Yuta? I'll take Wheeler Yuta over Travis Scott. I really don't have any interest in seeing Travis Scott again after this. I really don't. I don't have any interest in seeing either one of them, to be honest with you. Joe Law says Triple H giving clickbait answers on Mania being epic. Bron is better off than LA Knight after losing his title. Oh, for sure. Duff's Vids, a friend of mine showed me a map and said, point to Hungary. I don't know where you're getting these, dude. Some of these are decent and some of them are just awful. CNM says, what I'll say is there were some parts of Mania I really enjoyed. Night 1 main event, night 2 opener. But overall, I'm glad I chose All in Texas over WrestleMania 41 despite the mock stuff. Money-wise as well. I'm sure it'll be a more affordable trip for you. That's for damn sure. Derek says, like the Death Riders, I get the point that the finish is to piss off fans intentionally, but for fuck's sake, it was executed so poorly. Awful ending. It was just very anticlimactic for a WrestleMania main event. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. It was a disappointment. Travis Scott, girlfriend told me to get in touch with my feminine side. So I crashed the car. Thank you, Travis Scott. Duff's Vids, why do people with a foot fetish never win anything? Because they love the taste of defeat. Orton versus Hendry happened. What is there to believe in? Nothing, I guess, after what happened tonight. We no longer believe. Arabian Night. Least I know, All In will deliver in the ring. WrestleMania 41, thumbs down. Ross Lawman. Travis pulling the referee out of the ring knocks the referee out. Yeah, that was even the bump in the corner that he took. Like, you know, it was like, okay, dude. He's laying there like he's fucking dead for like an hour. I'm like, what are we doing here? M Mills again. M Mills dropped it feels like a lifetime ago at this point, but M Mills dropped a $500 bomb earlier in the stream. No message, just showing some love as she does every week. And I am forever appreciative of all of your support on all of these streams, but especially tonight. That was incredible. Thank you. Ross says, breaking, per Meltzer, Nakamura, head of creative. Jose, thank you for the membership. WWE Wrestling and Gaming thoughts on Triple H saying, be a fan, not a critic. Tune into the podcast today, episode 910. I talk about it on there. Aaron Tucker. Apparently Jeff Hardy was pitched to face Orton. That would have gotten a hell of a reaction. Can you imagine that? They hit Jeff Hardy's music. But I'm glad of the two. I'm glad it was Joe Hendry. I'm glad he got that moment. Psyche, thank you for the membership. Alexander, I think at this point, inquiring minds would agree letting Rock show up whenever he feels like it and having creative input is a mistake. See, I don't think TKO sees it that way. I don't disagree with you, but I think TKO thinks anytime they can get Rock, no matter what, you just get him. Even if it just leads to some nonsensical stuff that doesn't really make any sense. Because he's The Rock. If The Rock wanted to show up next week, guess what? He would be on the show. But I don't disagree with you. Michaela Rose. I miss the old rings. The sponsors in your face are just so overwhelming. There's so many of them. They try to fill, you know, the ring up as much as they possibly can. With as many logos as they can. Coach, sipping Jamba Juice out of a straw, says, one of the laughably worst WrestleManias of all time. I don't get how people watch this shit. Hot garbage across the board. MCMG says, raging PIs done. Thank you, MCMG. Plus Ultra Adrian. This Mania as a whole was meh for me. The build-up wasn't there, and the Night 2 main event was a letdown. Thank you for being here and helping us understand, or be entertained, rather. You're very welcome. We got the Minotaur back again. A man walks into a bar with a chunk of asphalt under his arm and asks the bartender for 2 beers. Bartender asks if he's waiting on someone. The man responds, no, I need for me and 1 for the road. Where's the rim shot when you need it? Alfonso with the 1999. Much better show today than yesterday's great opener with the ladies' epic surprises, and the crowd was actually making noise. And oh my lord, Liv Morgan. She is muy caliente. She is indeed. Thank you, Alfonso. Ross Lawman, even my girlfriend, her first WrestleMania, was saying, what the fuck? Why set up Cody to be hit by Travis in front of the referee like it wouldn't lead to a DQ? Cena is a 20-year veteran. Dude, he's so mentally checked out. I don't think he gives a shit. I think he shows up. He's like, what do you want me to do? You know, I made the commitment. Just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. I just think he's so mentally checked out at this point, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. He made his money. He made his commitment. He's going to show up and do all these dates. It's his last year. He's got one foot out the door, you know? He doesn't care. Cuba, thank you for the membership. Holiday says, who are your top picks for men's and women's Money in the Bank holders? Finn Balor and Zelina Vega are my picks. If Selena, it's Zelina. If she does not win the women's U.S. belt. I don't know. It's too late for me to start pondering these questions here about Money in the Bank, which is still, what is it, 2 months away, right? I'll throw Drew McIntyre's name out there. I had him for King of the Ring. I don't think they're doing King of the Ring. So I'll give you one for the men. I think Drew would be my early pick. Hydrograd, front row lady after Austin crashed into the barricade. Ah, you got me, brother. Yeah, she looked pissed. Even after he apologized to her, I assume he apologized to her, she was fucking angry. That's why Nick Khan went over there. Elijah Davis, Nutcracker Heyman's low blow on Roman was the highlight of the weekend. He left no stone unturned. It was as if he found the 2 jewels he was aiming for and checked to make sure the sneaky bastard didn't have more hidden away. It was a cavity search. He was checking for contraband. He was making sure Roman didn't smuggle any contraband into the WrestleMania main event. A Lost Dill. Welcome to the channel. Little Baby Fire Panda, thank you for the 50. Solomonster, the main event could have been a lot better. We could have heard Feed Me More, and the goat of all goats, Ryback, makes his way to the ring to screw Cody Rhodes, and Ryback joins Rock and Cena. I didn't know you were cosplaying as Ryback tonight. Alexander, I bet Rock wasn't at WrestleMania because that doofus was still solving that Rubik's Cube. He's still trying to figure it out. Nick Grosso with the $49.99. Fire Panda and Nick coming in with the pair of 50s here. I don't think Bayley is turning heel. She just came off a 5-year heel run and she was attacked. So how would she be the villain? Unless she pulled a big Cass and staged the attack, that wouldn't make sense. Also, a Becky heel turn is more interesting. Yeah, I mean, she spent 5 years as a heel, and then I would say the last several months as a babyface, she really hasn't been all that interesting. So either they need to find a compelling story for her as a babyface, or they need to turn her heel again. But Becky would make more sense. Becky would make more sense because I would think that they would want Becky and Lyra working a program for the IC title. Although the idea that somebody pitched before about Liv Morgan winning and then having Liv and Dom as both Intercontinental champions, I like that idea. Diego says, I'm sick of Pat. Not everybody should have a mic. They love Pat. You're probably going to get more Pat, not less. The Gaming Pegasus. I love you, Solo. Thank you. I love you too, brother. Duff's Vids. Again, eye poke. We can't see you, but we can hear you. I couldn't hear Cena, but I could definitely see him calling those spots in the main event. Kevin Jordan, celebrating 29 months of channel membership. I see all my colored skulls in the chat. Green skulls, gold skulls. No blue. I think Boots has a blue one, right? Ross Lawman, if I spent thousands on WrestleMania tickets, I would be a heel too. Fair point. Dorenzo, they said Cena hadn't won at Mania in 10 years. Didn't he beat Elias at WrestleMania 35? That wasn't a match though, right? That was just a segment. Yeah, that wasn't a match. David Wilson. Remember months ago when Meltzer said Rock wasn't going to be at WrestleMania and Rock shot it down? LOL. You know what? Meltzer, look at that. Meltzer was vindicated tonight. How about that? A rare win for Uncle Dave. Justin G. I ain't dancing it. I ain't chancing it. Maybe he's not dancing either. Double be the booker. Yeah, we still have to get to be the booker. My God. King Nader, thank you for the 33. Bobby's World with a 50. I can't take the suspense anymore. Second be the booker. I know we got to speed our way through here. Pax Pisonica with a 50 potentially should have been the best storyline in the history of WWE. Shaking my head. Cena should have chased number 17 and then finally won it at the end of this run as a babyface. The build-up and payoff would have been epic. What we got tonight was anything but that. I can't disagree with you. We have to see how the rest of this run plays out before we could do the post-mortem. But I am surprised, though, that they had him win 17 as a heel. I am surprised about that. Alan, thank you. Cuba. At M. Mills. I didn't mean to add that extra 0, brother. I think she knew what she was doing. Look at this. Sato Fishing gifted 20 membership. Man, we had 50 memberships gifted. Now we have 20. That's 70 right there. I like that. I like to see the membership count go up so people can get a taste of it. They can use the emojis. They can get the gold skulls. Chris O'Neill, there's footage of Austin crashing the ATV before the driving on the stage. Oh, so before he even got onto the stage, I'm telling you, man, he was a few beers in. He was a few beers in before he got behind the wheel. I'm telling you. He got his night started early. Jeremy Rose, so Cody can use a chair to beat Kevin Owens, but can't use a belt to beat Cena. Make it make sense. Derek Jackson. Every 5 minutes, all we hear is fiend, fiend, fiend. Damn it, I can't stand that song any longer. Sato with another 20 gifted memberships. Add 20 more to the list. Joshua Bonfield, are you looking forward to Ric Flair's reaction? I honestly could not possibly care any less. I don't give a shit. But I tell you what, I am sure that every first word is going to be capitalized. Sato with another 20 gifted membership. He is on a roll here. David Thiering, congrats on 86,000 subscribers, Solomonster. Thank you. I thought that would happen tonight. I'm very happy. The Minotaur. Rock's busy trying to take the Rubik's Cube's soul. He can't figure it out. It's like, how do I get this thing's soul? A Gorilla, The Rock has go away heat with me, brother. JRG. Thank you for the membership. We got Nick. It honestly makes all the sense in the world now why Triple H was running around with his preemptive damage control. Just be a fan. He was trying to discredit the Backlash before it started. Could be. He was being proactive instead of reactive. Ross Lawman, my Netflix just went back to the homepage and Cody's music played, and I thought someone dropped solo another Cody bomb. They're more than welcome to. Oh well, here's some more chump change. Thank you, Ross. Always welcome the Cody bombs. You don't see them very often, but when they show up, you got to hit the deck. Anderson Blitz, I don't care how the main event ended. I'm glad John Cena won number 17. Let's hope Ric Flair doesn't get a heart attack from that match. He got a heart attack during his last match. So I think he'll be fine. Mark Hugh the Mark, glad they finally got the belt off the American NyQuil. SmackDown should be a lot more tolerable for me. Raw, on the other hand, I'll be sure to change the channel until they change the World Heavyweight Champion. Not going to be yeeting with everybody else? The Nerve Ensemble. Such an underwhelming end to night 2, even if The Rock just popped up on the screen, shit-talking or play mind games to cost Cody the title. Nah, I mean, if he just popped up on screen and couldn't be there in person, people would still be complaining. The fact that he actually was at the Chamber and he wasn't at WrestleMania blows my mind. Duddy says, I don't feel like I just witnessed history. Thought it was odd to celebrate history with heel Cena, but that ending I felt empty and nothing. That's because it was a terrible ending. The way they got there was very bad. Bobby Means with 14 months of channel membership. I believe we are going to get a Bianca heel turn. Plus, what do you think about a potential AJ Styles and Karrion Kross storyline? We're in the middle of one, so, you know, we're already getting one. And I'm all for it continuing. I hope it does. I'm sure it will. And yeah, you and me on the Bianca heel turn. Aaron Tucker, fiend. Sorry, I had to. No, you really didn't. You chose to. Bones Jones, Orton against Cena at Backlash. It is in St. Louis. I've been saying it for weeks. Base Beerus, this just in. WWE acquires TNA. Yeah. And then New Japan will be next. Super Pony, outside of a few matches, this was not a good Mania. I live in Vegas and I'm quite happy I did not go. BCOM see clearly now I know the story behind KO. Who has the best moveset? Not CM Punk. Good to see Punk staying out of trouble, and Night 2 had a Tony Khan Death Riders finish. Abyssal Zones. AJ losing to so decisively doesn't bode well for his chances of another main event run. I had hoped that he would be one of Cena's challengers. It seems unlikely. Yeah, he's not challenging Cena. Unless it's like a TV match or something. Rhymes and Dimes. Pretty sure the green shirt guy is the fan CM Punk punched in the stands in 2012, 2013. It looks just... You see, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think that was a different person. Green shirt guy would never be that deep into the stands. He would always be in the front row, the first 2 rows. That guy was like up in the crowd. J.D. Edios. What up, Solo? Glad Cena won, but I needed a real receipt on Travis Scott from Cody besides a single Crossroads. On another note, I'm glad Dom won to get that cowardly IC champion. I'm looking forward to a Dom run. I'm glad he won too. Yo-Yo Sup says Randy missed his opportunity to get his win back over Alexa Bliss. Truly disappointing that the Viper is scared of a 5-foot blonde. She was in Vegas with nothing to do. Base Beerus says Bray Wyatt could have used Fiend as his theme. He could have, yes. He could have. Bret Hart with the 12. Thank you for all your hard work, Solomonster, and for keeping me company on my night shifts. The show was mid, but I was fine with the finish of Night 2's main event. I respectfully disagree with your stance on it, Mr. Monster. Well, if you're talking about the outcome, I have no issue with the outcome. It was the execution of the finish itself I just thought was complete garbage for a WrestleMania main event. It was underwhelming. It was just bad. But the actual outcome of him winning 17, I don't have an issue with that. Base Beer says it John Fina. Poppy says, glad we got to see the Cone Zone to set the mood for the battle over John Cena's plan to ruin wrestling. The Cone Zone? Super Pony, also Cody used a chair to beat KO at Saturday night's main event, but refuses to crack Cena with the belt when Cena did the same to him at the Chamber. It makes no sense. Well, Cody has fallen victim to what many before him have fallen victim to. It's something that I coined the phrase many years ago. It's called dumb babyface syndrome. And that is what Cody fell victim to tonight. Mr. Wilson. All I can think of is CM Punk's pipe bomb promo about Vince's doofus son-in-law taking over. Punk is looking like a prophet now. Bobby's World says, to you, Solo, my friend, thank you for all your content and hard work. Hope you get some good rest in preparation for this week. Much love and appreciation from this now 10-year Sound Off follower. Thank you, Bobby. That means a lot. I am not going to get much in the way of sleep until maybe Thursday. I'm streaming every night until then, so. But then after the Dynamite stream on Wednesday, I don't think I have another show until next Monday, since I'm not going to be here this weekend. Shattered Glass 23. Cena recently said that he still loves Vince. Might have been added to the booing he received. No, Cena's a heel. That's why he got booed. And I talked about the Cena thing with Vince on the podcast today. It's not the first time he said that. He said that on the Howard Stern show many months ago. But I addressed that on the show today. If you want to go check out episode 910, I gave my thoughts on that. Ross Lawman, I'm not sure a happy ending could save this WrestleMania ending. You know what's even more bullshit? I just remembered. Cena gave an interview to People magazine a few weeks ago, and in regards to what was coming in this storyline and at WrestleMania, he said there were more unpredictable things to come. What a load of shit that was, huh? Base Beer says, Fiendango. The Mount Vernon Kid says, my WrestleMania 41 grades, Solo. Night 1 equals C+, night 2 equals B+. I think that's fair. Aaron Tucker, it's Chelsea Fiend. S. McPhee, my faith has never been so shaken. Nothing we see on TV has any meaning anymore. It can be dropped or ignored, and we have to accept it makes sense. No Rock involvement, but a 90-pound rapper. Ridiculous. EJ Slump, could you imagine if after Bash at the Beach 96, Hogan was never seen with Hall and Nash again? That's what this Cena heel turn feels like. BCOM see clearly Cena should have won the Rumble and beat Gunther, and Rollins, Punk, Roman, Cody, Night 2 with the Heyman-Rollins alignment. Gunther versus Cena works. Base Beer says Cena's heel turn should have happened in the match. Looking at the way things worked out, I think that would have been certainly better than what we got tonight. Nick Grasso, is Naito exiting New Japan, and does he go to AEW? Yeah, Naito is leaving New Japan, and he's not going to AEW. I also did a whole segment on that on the podcast as well. You got a lot of content in episode 910. If you missed it earlier with all the WrestleMania hoopla, definitely go check that out. I did a whole segment on New Japan, and there are 3 people leaving New Japan. I talked about all 3. Anna, this is the play it safe era. No surprises, playing it safe, boring. It's killing the product. Rest in peace, Kevin Castle. I love you, Solomonster. Kevin would have been very happy to see Cross appear on the WrestleMania show tonight. I think that would have put a smile on his face. He's a big fan of Karrion Kross. BCOM C clearly, should Bayley have helped Cena win? No. Paul Van Summeren. Predictions for Raw tomorrow. There's only 20 days until Backlash. The Cena-Orton build should start immediately. Yes, and I hope we see that. But, you know, somebody before mentioned Cena possibly bringing back the spinner belt. I have a fear that we might get that tomorrow night. Darius says, hate has won at WrestleMania this year with all the heels winning. Embrace the hate. That's right. Pop Culture Express. WrestleMania 41 main event was rubbish. I think Roman Reigns is a much better performer than John Cena ever was, and also Cody Rhodes doesn't have aura like Reigns had. WWE product has lost its spark. Yusuf, dark day for a day one Cena hater like me. After doing his best to ruin my enjoyment of wrestling through my teens, I have to endure this again as a 26-year-old. He's never been worse in the ring. Hashtag I'm with AEW. Phil the Truth. How do you make Easter easier? You switch I from T. We've got Le Carpetron, Travis Scott and Omos tag team title run. And Omos would eat him for breakfast and shit him out for dinner. Ishmael, are you going to Worlds Collide? No. Crazy, the referee was selling like Stone Cold Steve Austin hit him with the ATV. Luis, I'm so angry that John Cena combined the 12 dimensions just like Yubel did in the last English dubbed episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. The only difference is that Cena didn't use super polymerization. Luis, I feel physical pain. And I'm all out. Thank you, Luis. Arabian Night, buy, sell, rent, burn. WrestleMania 35, 37, 38, and 41. I don't know. I'm so defeated right now. Man. I mean, there's good things to pick out of each one. None of these WrestleManias that you just mentioned are any of my favorites. I can't really answer it though. Honestly, I can pick certain things out of each. If I had to pick one to burn though, and I gotta burn one of these, probably burning 35, honestly. Justin G, Yamaguchi-san, I choppy your fiend. Retro KOH, give me the night 2 card, but swap the main event with the one from night 1. Tonight would be perfect. Duff's Vids, I got hit in the head with a can of Coke. I'm all right. It was a soft drink. Zacharias Sitchin, night 2 as a whole was better than night 1, but night 1's main event was better than night 2's main event. From now on, move Mania back to earlier in April. Obviously, with more time, they cannot pull it off. Yeah, I hope they... What are the dates for next year? I think it's like a week earlier. There's too much time. Between the Chamber and Mania, there's just too much time. There's too much dead time. They don't know how to use it. One last time, point to the WrestleMania sign. Long live Solo. Yeah, that thing's coming down. There. You can't see it, though. But I'm pointing to it. It's right there. Duff's Vids, what do you call 2 lesbians in a closet? A liquor cabinet. Get it? A liquor cabinet? Cecil Robinson attended both nights. Gonna watch both on TV to get an unbiased opinion. Carrying the replica belt around overtime is exhausting. Yeah, I would advise against that. I mean, that's just insane to me. All the walking that you'll do, carry around a replica belt, unless you're buying it at the show. Like, I mean, there's no point in bringing it. Joseph Stewart, how would you have booked DDP beating Goldberg streak in WCW? How? I would have him pin Goldberg. Very simple. You could do it at Halloween Havoc, or you could have Goldberg beat him at Halloween Havoc, have DDP win World War III in November, get one more shot at Starrcade, and then beat him there. And he counters out of a jackhammer into a diamond cutter, and he pins him. Blue Jay, whack finish. This WrestleMania is bad. AAA is goated, though. Joseph says, buy or sell Triple H's theme My Time or Motorhead's Time to Play the Game. I like them both, but I'm a My Time guy. Dr. Scorpio, Travis Scott got a Mania main event moment before most of the wrestlers in WWE, hoping to main event Mania one day. That's true. Joseph Stewart says, was WWE planning a Rock against Shawn Michaels match for WrestleMania 16? Because Shawn gave the Rock they were. I know you're talking about the moment at the end of that first SmackDown kickoff in August where he super kicked him. No, I've never heard that they were planning that match. James Griffin, is Piercer of Heaven a good moniker? Piercer of Heaven? I'm not a fan. I wouldn't use it. Ross Lawman, RKO, I'm a 14-time world champion, soon to be 15. Interesting. I'm telling you, that's the Backlash match. RDS Harry, I always enjoy listening to your reviews, brother. When are these jabronis going to realize that Gunther was not buried because he tapped out to Jay? Yeah, Gunther's going to be just fine. I don't know what he's doing next. I really don't. But he's going to be fine. Matt Fisher with a pair of super chats here. Now that Becky is back, can Charlotte fly away? Seriously, the difference between attitudes and returning is night and day. Cody should really start wearing a cup. They never learn, man. Navy 4181. Now that Cena has the title, I really hope he delivers the classic heel line. You want a title shot? You got it. Just not tonight. Of course, every heel wrestler has to say it. It's like a rite of passage. WWE Iceman. Hey, Solo, keep doing your thing. By the way, there's video of a golf cart with Dominik on it running into a fan on the outside of the arena. I guess everyone's after lawsuits to make up for the seat prices. Yeah, they're trying to make some of that money back, I guess, right? They're going to be walking around with neck braces on. It's going to be a lawyer's dream. West Coast James with 46 months of membership. Mania on Easter 420. I was lit today. Tonight's show was funny at times. I seen Joe Hendry get RKO'd. I saw Austin hit a lady with an ATV. Cena won. Where's Rock? Why Scott? It's a lot of questions. James has a lot of questions. Matt Fisher, have you ever heard the unused corporate Triple H theme? It is a banger. Yeah, I heard it many years ago. I know it's floating around on YouTube. Ishmael, I met EC3 recently in Sacramento. Man, I wish an AEW signed him. Dude can still cut a promo. An EC3 against MJF feud is money. I mean, they're basically the same person. Matt Fisher says, why is 6 afraid of 7? It doesn't want to get older. Don't we all feel that way? We got Darius Harris. Since Orton was called up in 2002, he has only missed WrestleMania 19, 32, and 39. Between 19 and 32, he was on 14 times consecutively. Interesting piece of trivia there. I did not know that. And Lost Dill, 3 rounds of Be the Book. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're gonna keep it to the 2 because we have finally reached the point. That was a long segment. I have been with you, by the way, for 3 hours and 15 minutes. You guys have been killing it. I feel like I aged 6 years from the time WrestleMania started. The Juliet, Cena's first title as a heel. When he won the U.S. title, was he? I guess he was a babyface. All right, here we go. You guys are getting 2 rounds. It's very late. Let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the Booker.
We have no time to waste here because it is time to be the Booker. And then we are going to get the fuck out of here because it is very late. It is almost 3 o'clock in the morning. So let's take care of round number 1 here. And we have got Booker T and Goldust are kicking us off here. Tag team Be the Booker. This is usually how we start. It's just a fun little thing we do here at the end of the streams if we hit certain goals. It's a randomizer that I've put together here. And it's going to be Booker T and Goldust against the Quebecers. Bones Jones says this stream almost as long as WrestleMania. We're getting close. We are getting close. All right, women's Be the Booker. Liv Morgan. There she is, the former women's world champion, former tag team champion now too. Liv Morgan. You know what I love about that world title picture or win? That was in Saudi Arabia. And I have it as the header photo in our Facebook group, our private group on Facebook. There's this great screenshot of her celebrating and posing with the championship, and right behind her is this giant Solomonster sounds off sign. It's awesome. Liv Morgan against Zarya. That's going to be a match one day. When Zarya gets called up, it's going to be a match on the main roster. And in our main event, oh my God, say his name and look who appears in the main event of all nights. Joe Hendry is one half of our main event. Can you believe this? It's like it was meant to be. Say he's having quite the night. Yes, he is. Oh, his night just got a lot better. Because Joe Hendry is wrestling Sting. How about that? Joe Hendry wrestles Randy Orton and Sting in the same night. He's peaked. It doesn't get any better than that. So because you hit the other goal, we have to do a second round. I don't know if we're going to top what we just did. We're going to try, though. Joe Hendry's having a hell of a night, even though it didn't end well with Randy Orton. Let's start with the tag team match. It'll be a last man standing. Has there ever been a last man standing tag team match? I feel like there probably was. Oh boy. It is the Toxic Turtles. The Toxic Turtles have appeared in Be the Booker. Bonus points to you if you know who the Toxic Turtles are. You never know what you're going to find here in Be the Booker. It's going to be the Toxic Turtles against the Motor City Machine Guns in a last man standing match. And I have to give it the buzzer for a very specific reason, because it is a last man standing match. And unfortunately, it is not a last turtle standing match. And so that is an automatic buzz. I'm sorry. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. Any other stipulation, I probably would have given it a bell. All right, women's Be the Booker. A women's tables, ladders, and chairs match. Starring our women's world champion, Io Sky, Very successful night for her at WrestleMania. She's going to put her title on the line here in a TLC match against Trish Stratus. Oh my goodness. Sign me the fuck up for that match. I'll take some of that. And in the main event, it will be a hair match. Somebody is getting shaved bald in the main event. Who is it going to be, though? Let's find out. We're ending with a hair match after this. After all this, we're ending with a hair match. Jay Briscoe. The late, great Jay Briscoe. He's got some hair there. I miss Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe against the Indie God, the Deathmatch King, Matt Cardona. Can't give it the Sonic sweep, though, because we fucked up the tag team match. There you go. Be the Booker is in the books. And I will be in my bed in minutes. But first, I have to say thank you for everybody who stuck with me. It is almost 3 o'clock in the morning, and we still are right around 3,400 live here on YouTube. So you guys are crazy. We had almost 5,000 in here, and you killed it with all the support. M. Mills with that $500 bomb, my goodness. And everybody else. I mean, it's not just M. Mills, everybody. There's a lot of work and time and effort that goes into this, and just everything between the prep and the graphics and the podcast today, and it's a lot. So to see this kind of support, that means something to me. Just know that. Retro KOH, why does counting get scary after 6? Because 7, 8, 9, and 10. See, that was cute. I like that. Thank you, Retro. As I said before, I did a podcast today, well over 2 hours, episode 910. If you didn't listen to it, it'll be there waiting for you in the morning. So go ahead and you can stream it. You can download it anywhere you get your podcast from. And I will see you live on this channel, I don't know, in less than 24 hours. Because we got the post-WrestleMania Raw. Maybe there'll be some big stuff that goes down. I certainly hope it's better than what we got here at the end of this show. Be well. Stay safe. Have a great night. Hit that like button on your way out. And I will see you for more Sound Off. The work never ends. I'll see you tomorrow night.